on the front lines, and in Kiev, it is becoming increasingly tense and chaotic. Now, what has happened is that the Russians are pushing hard everywhere along the front lines. We've discussed this in previous programs, but over the last 2-3 days, things are starting to happen at an ever accelerating rate on the front lines. And we're starting to see serious cracks and breakdowns in the Ukrainian defenses. And the most important one has happened in Avdiivka. Now, Avdiivka, just to remind everyone, it's a small town, about 30,000 people before the war, close to Donetsk city. It was part of a very heavily fortified line that Ukraine created between the fighting in 2014 and the start of the special military operation. It was a fortress city. People like Patrick Lancaster have been there. They've described how incredibly dense the fortifications in Avdiivka were. And it was, until very recently, the linchpin of the entire Ukrainian military position close to Donetsk city. It was the place from which the Ukrainian army would have attacked Donetsk city had such an attack ever materialized. And it's also absolutely key to Ukrainian defenses in southern and central Donbass. So it's a very important place and heavily fortified, and the Russians began a major attack upon it in October. Now, this is a heavily fortified place. Most people thought the fighting would go on for many weeks, many months. The Russians have been gradually tightening their grip around Avdiivka, but it didn't seem until a couple of days ago that things were going to take a dramatic turn there. And then suddenly they did. About 2 days ago, we suddenly started to get a whole trickle and then a cascade and flood of reports, all of which now confirm that Ukrainian defenses in southern Avdiivka, this is the town itself, not the fortified perimeter around it, but the Ukrainian defenses in southern Avdiivka have suddenly collapsed. And it seems that the Russians have been able to storm various heavily fortified Ukrainian positions up south of Avdiivka. They've broken into Avdiivka itself. So the fighting is now taking place in the southern part of Avdiivka. Around a quarter to a third of the town might now have been occupied by the Russians. I mean, it's difficult to give an exact percentage because different mappers give different readings. And it seems that there's a Russian attack on Avdiivka from multiple directions. And there are reports of Ukrainian soldiers fleeing the battlegrounds and the Russians pushing towards the central part of Avdiivka. So this is a shock. It's a couple of days ago, we were talking about the collapsing situation in the bridgehead of Krinky, which is on the east bank of the Dnieper River. And apparently we've got more news about that as well. It seems the Ukrainian troops who are still there are now down to about 50, and the situation there is collapsing in the way that we discussed. Avdiivka, much bigger place, far bigger battle. We're talking about thousands of men on each side. The Russian force is said to number around 40,000. So that gives us a sense of how much more important it is. But suddenly, a situation where it looks as if Ukrainian forces are starting to break down and that they're not able to plug the holes that are starting to appear in their defense lines. And to make matters worse for Ukraine, this seems to be happening right across the front lines now. So the Russians have made significant further advances, for example, in the area of Bakhmut. They're pushing west of Bakhmut towards a town called Chasov Yar, which will then open the way for attacks into northern Donbass. They seem to be well on the way to capturing an important village there called Bogdanovka, which is, again, a linchpin to Ukrainian defenses in this area. They've made further advances further north from Bakhmut towards the other important fortified Ukrainian town of Siversk. And again, one's getting reports that things are starting to break down. And the front lines around Kupiansk at the very north are also becoming activated. The Russians have captured another important strategic village in this area. Again, over the last 36 hours, they seem to be pushing west towards the Oskol River. They look like they're preparing to sort of move on to the Oskol River, cutting off Ukrainian communications to Kupiansk and perhaps isolating that place as well. And the other thing that's happening is that we've discussed in previous programs how the Ukrainian air defense system seems to be breaking down. And we're now seeing Russian aircraft flying right above Ukrainian defense positions. So Avdiivka itself, Ukrainian air defenses in Avdiivka, are being heavily bombed by the Russian Air Force with Russian ground attack fighters now flying directly above Avdiivka. Obviously, they're no longer worried about Ukrainian air defense missiles there. And in Kupiansk, we're also seeing the Russian Air Force very active, not just jet aircraft, but helicopter gunships, also very active in ways we haven't seen the Russians using in an offensive way before, actually, to my recollection, at any point in this war since the very beginning. The Russian Air Force was quite active in February and March of 2022, but then it played a secondary role afterwards. Now it's back and it's hitting the Ukrainians very hard. So suddenly we see a weakening of Ukrainian front lines. And by the way, more reports of very heavy Ukrainian losses as the Russians are pushing so hard. And Media Zona, this NGO that carries out these investigations of Russian losses, continues to show Russian losses as relatively low. So, a sudden shift in the situation on the front lines.
Yeah, I think we said.
Let's see, I guess we're. He gets very excited with cats. I think he wants to play with them. Got attacked by a cat that almost killed him, and his tail was wagging. The cat jumped up on his sheep. I don't know if it was a she, but the cat put their mouth around Lucky's nose and then used their four claws to shut his mouth, trying to suffocate him. And I couldn't get that cat off. I tried, I did everything. I finally hurt the cat, but Lucky didn't fight back. His tail was wagging. He likes cats. I don't know. He gets overly excited by cats, though. Watch Davidoff and Jake Bro instead of Putin propaganda. No serious Western journalist calls this a special opera. And Ukrainians really like this guy. But yeah, you're welcome to believe what you will. I can't, there's nobody blinder than he who just won't see. But Ukraine is probably finished as a country, or at least as its current size, and but it's losing its ports and other, and the Russians are winning. I mean, it's just a fact. So I'll look up Davidoff and Jake Bro, but I'm not interested in propaganda. To call factual reporting by independent guys Putin propaganda, it says more about your ability to constantly seek information and process new information than it does about these two gentlemen who I followed for a long, long time on a lot of different subjects. They're not Putin propaganda, but make no mistake about it. Putin is having Joe Biden's lunch and Victoria Nuland. So it's 1:19. Ham's going to come on at 2. I wanted to show you one thing about GDC, which is not new. This isn't new, but I just wanted to show it to you. Well, let me go through some of the scores around the league. Logic is basically 4.5 cents, 10,000 shares. HNRC's down. It's at 3 cents. And it's 51,000 by 20,000. It trades as if he did a deal with a toxic, dilutive placement agent, and they're just crushing it with stock every day. It's a conundrum because by the company's own press release, the net asset value per share is $2.32. Well, obviously, the criminals want it to become extremely expensive to raise money using equity. Therefore, that 232 will come down on a per share basis. That's one thing. But the other thing is there's very high odds he's going to give a cash dividend soon that's worth more than the current market price per share. So it's a conundrum. It's a hard stock to trade because if you're buying it for the dividend, you'll hold on through the dividend. Anyway, that's HNRC. I don't know why it trades like that. I can't find any evidence that he took a bad deal, but it trades that way. ZJYL is at 101, down. GDC is up 4 cents at 210. It was up to 265. So that got me, and it's got decent volume. Northwest Biosystems, 62 cents. CLNV, 4 cents. Wolf is $1.40. Yeah, I guess I don't know what else I need to check out for you guys. But I looked up when GDC was up, I just quickly refreshed my memory. And on November 3rd, Univest Securities, a member of FINRA and SIPC, and a full-service investment bank and securities broker-dealer based in New York, announced the closing of registered direct offering of 1.4 million shares of common stock and pre-funded warrants to purchase up to 1.9 million shares of the common stock at a purchase price of $3 for its client, GD Cultural Group Limited. GDC, a holding company currently conducting business through Shanghai Jiangsu Technology and AI Catalyst Catalysis Corp. The purchase price for the pre-funded warrants was identical to the purchase price for the shares, less the exercise price of 0.001. That's actually pretty confusing to me. I need to pull down the SEC filing to see what they actually paid. But anyway, the company issued the same warrants to purchase up to 3.3 million shares of common stock at $3.02 a share, 5 years. The aggregate gross proceeds to the company were $10 million. Univest acted as the sole placement agent. The shares, the pre-funded warrants, and the warrants have been registered, and the offering was made pursuant to a shelf registration on Form S3, previously declared effective by the SEC on March 26th, 2021. So that certainly took a long time between declared effective and when the deal got done. There's a prospectus. Anyway, that's for GDC, and it's just kind of a reminder that there's some big players involved. I mean, it's old news. It's November, but it's just to remind us that Univest is involved. And then today, and I'm sure Ham will go over it, Finger Motion put out a new press release where the CEO detailed the revenue mix, recognition of revenue, and the transition to increasing gross margins. In other words, the measure isn't just revenue, it's how profitable are the revenues. So he put out a letter, it just came out this morning, to our shareholders overview. In our continuing efforts to provide transparency regarding our financial status, I am providing more clarity as to the results of our most recent quarterly results. As most of you know, the majority of our revenue is currently derived from our telecommunication products and services division. This consists primarily of our top-up, that's buying minutes, online, of our top-up and recharge services. However, over the past year, we have evolved this category to include more profitable endeavors. Thus, we want to outline the 3 other service offerings within this category, beside the top-up, as we seek to increase this division's gross margins or profitability. They have the top-up and recharge. Top-up and recharge services offered to consumers nationwide. They have subscription plans, new customer acquisition by offering packaged telecommunication subscription plans. They have mobile phone, portal sales of mobile phones to online consumers. This business can be sporadic as sales are driven by market demand, new market model releases, and promotional activities. And then finally, they have cloud services. This is a new endeavor for us, providing data storage, processing servers, and databases over the internet, the cloud, to offer more efficient access and greater flexibility to our corporate customers, while also offering economies of scale. Essentially, companies pay only for the cloud services which they use, helping to lower operating costs, run infrastructure more efficiently, and to scale as businesses' needs change. Similar to mobile phone sales, this service is also sporadic and largely dependent on market opportunities and client requirements, which can vary greatly from month to month. The effect of revenue recognition. Given its sporadic nature, quarterly revenue recognition on a go-forward basis will be variable, making it difficult to issue revenue and earnings guidance. Our cloud services, which represented 88% or 8.1 of the 9.2 million for quarter two of fiscal 2024. And their dates lag, so they're talking about a quarter that's already happened, even though here in the United States, we're in 2024. So you just have to adjust your thinking. I guess it's Chinese accounting. So our cloud services, which represented 88% or 8.1 million of the 9.2 million for quarter two of fiscal 2024. Our cloud services are recognized on a rolling 30 to 60 day cycle. In Q3 of fiscal 2024, nearly all of the 6.1 million in revenue was from top up and recharge, and very little was attributed to our cloud services, despite our recurring marketing campaigns in this category. We look for the sales to be captured in Q4 of fiscal 2004. I assume that's the quarter we're in, that did not make the cutoff for Q3 of fiscal 2024. Our top-up business was actually quite strong, considering the 1.1 million baseline in quarter two of fiscal 2024. Revenue rose to 6.1 million in Q3 of fiscal 2024, which represents an increase of 455% quarter over quarter. Even with the challenges in our top-up business in Q3 of fiscal 2004, that's the last quarter, we expect a return to sustainable growth in Q4 of fiscal 2024. That's the quarter we're in. And you just got to adjust your brain. All I can think is they count their years backwards and we do it forward. I don't know why it's different. Profit margins. In Q2 of fiscal 2024, gross profit margins were 20%, which primarily attributed to the successful addition. I really destroyed that sentence. In Q2 of fiscal 2024, gross profit margins were 19.8%, which was primarily attributed to the successful addition of cloud services. In Q3, last quarter of fiscal 2024, almost all revenue was attributed to top-up, which has a lower gross margin of 10.4%. With an expected greater mix of cloud services to be recognized in Q4 of fiscal 2024, this quarter, we believe the gross margin should bounce back when combined with top-up business. These revenue fluctuations are expected to continue, so it is important for investors to look at the overall trend in revenues and gross margins, which are generally on an upward trend. Highlighting yearly revenue growth and profit. Thus, with quarterly revenue swings attributable to these revenue recognition rules, it is paramount to look at our long-term trends versus the short-term quarterly fluctuations, which do not necessarily show the strength of the underlying business. For the 9 months ended November 30, 2023, revenue was $27.6 million, which was an increase of 30% over the $21.2 million in the 9 months ended November 30, 2022. I don't know why they're back to November 2023. They've been talking about 2024 the whole time. That's either a typo or it's an accounting message I don't get, but I assume they're talking about this past November's 9 months ended this past November. Revenue was almost 28 million, an increase of 30% year over year over the previous 9-month run to November. This represented an increase of 1.5 million or 90% attributable to our introduction of new product mix within our telecommunications product and services category. In summary, while we faced certain challenges and fluctuations in Q3 of fiscal 2024, up here they're talking about Q3, the 9 months ended into Q3, but they call it 2023, which to our eyeballs is what it was. Last year was 2023. But now they go back to referring to it as 2024. I personally think that's a difference in Chinese accounting versus how they recognize a year versus how we do it here. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a significant problem. Anyway, in summary, while we faced certain challenges and fluctuations in Q3 of fiscal 2024, we believe our diverse portfolio and adaptive strategies position us well for future growth. We feel investors should focus on the long-term prospects of the company, like our InsurTech and big data initiatives, rather than a revenue recognition anomaly. There is likely to be a spillover effect with regards to revenue and gross margins. To me, that means that revenue they couldn't take last quarter will be here in this quarter, so they start this quarter with a bang. There's likely to be a spillover effect with regards to revenue and gross margins, which will position the company for a record year. We remain committed to maximizing our opportunities, like the launch of a new lifestyle app across all segments, and look forward to continuing our positive trajectory. Sincerely, Martin Shen, CEO, Finger Motion. Okay. I wanted to quote one thing. It didn't fit, so I gave you a different quote. I wanted to quote one thing that Jesse Livermore said. He talks about a paradox that I'm not going to bore you with. But what his quote is, a loss bothers, part of my problem is as I read, this eye isn't seeing much of anything at all. So as I read, I skip whole words somehow. Anyway, I apologize for mangling the sentence again. A loss never bothers me after I take it. I forget it overnight. But being wrong, not taking the loss, that is what does damage to the pocketbook and to the soul. That's Jesse Livermore. I'll say it again. A loss never bothers me after I take it. I forget it overnight. But being wrong, not taking the loss, that is what does damage to the pocketbook and to the soul. Andy Roddick said that Novak Djokovic said about Novak Djokovic, first he takes your legs, and he takes your soul. And I think John Ringo said in that movie, to the lunger, okay, lunger, I want your blood. I want your soul. And I want them both right now. All right, let's see. I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. We have 20 minutes till Ham comes on. So I hope I didn't put you to sleep. And the gals, I'm going backwards, saying hello. Hey, Moody. No sound? Let me check my settings. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Sound's working. I don't know what's wrong with the sound. Don't use such words. I don't think I said anything bad, but if I did use bad word language, I apologize. Wow, your dog just turned 19? That's a good dog. Yeah, he's 14. I hate to think that he's 15. DBM, you're welcome to your illusion, but just recognize that it is illusion. The mainstream media in the United States want you to believe that somehow we are winning in the Ukraine. We're not. That money is squandered. And whether or not it has something to do with the briberies done amongst and the flow of money through the Ukraine toward U.S. officials, who I won't name. The fact is, there are casualties in Ukraine of half a million, 500,000 people. And it's unsustainable. So you're welcome to your illusions, but to call someone else's argument just propaganda, that doesn't show that you have much of an argument. It shows rather that you have a fixed position and a fixed point of view without being on the ground, without studying it, and without recognizing facts. But if you listen to CNN, MSNBC, read the New York Times, I can't much get mad at you. You're using the information you have at your fingertips. But DBMM, you should know the reason I talk about it is that the United States dollar, the United States markets, and even the United States military, the United States bond markets are all skating on thin ice. And that relates to your lifestyle. But if you don't care, you don't care. It doesn't bug me. It doesn't bug me. But you're not changing. You're not going to change my mind when I study the issue as best I can by calling my sources propaganda. I would argue you've got your name calling back assword. Hey, Fluoride Phil. Tell Ham not to bother coming on. Don't need any more fake hype on these stocks. Well, that's a interesting use of two words: fake hype. Hype by its definition, hype means, if not exactly fake, very close to fake promotion of a stock. So to call something fake hype is redundant. And I'm not an English professor. Maybe they counteract each other. It's a double negative. But fluoride Phil, Ham's coming on. So what I suggest is you go off. That way you don't need to listen to what you call fake hype on these stocks. But Ham's coming on in 16 minutes. I bet he's on for at least 45 minutes to an hour. So that gives you time to go off. And you're always welcome to come back after he's done. Rum up 31%. That's interesting. Going to make some nice bag holders in those two stocks. I hope you're not doing it. Fun is up. DWAC is up. There's an argument that shorts get caught out sometimes. But I would imagine these two are up because the Trumpster seems to be doing much better. But I think it's early in the times. And I don't think the powers that be are going to allow Trump to be our president. They can't control. I missed where Putin wants Alaska back. Well, this is the presidency under which to take it, but I don't want. There's an older gentleman on a plane, and the stewardess took a liking to him, and she says, "Oh, you're so handsome. I love your eyes. I want to be with you. Oh, you're so strong. I want you to take me here. Oh, you're such a nice man. I want to sit next to you and share the rest of the ride." And the guy says, this older man says to this young, beautiful woman, "Want. You want everything. What's in it for me?" I didn't do that joke very well. Hi, Linda Telly. Hey, Susan. DBMM, it's not, your information is wrong in my judgment. Russia is winning. Ukraine has lost territory and lost it for permanently. There is no status quo. I think Putin is showing restraint and just systematically accomplishing his goals. Ukraine needs to sue for peace or they'll lose a lot more. Now, Putin's days are coming to an end. That may be true. There's some questions on his health, but you really need to examine what you're asking for. In my judgment, Putin has been an adult in the room while Victoria Nuland plays. And remember, it's the patriarchy that creates wars and does all the killing. If women could be in charge, we'd be so much better off. But you've got to ask yourself, who would replace Putin? And if you want hardliners of the ex-Soviet Union to replace Putin, then DBMM, you're hoping for a war with much graver consequences and that you can cheer for it. And take the information that's force-fed to you on its face value. That's why we're closer to the complete annihilation, not only of our species, but most species on the planet, because of idiocy, in my judgment, like this. If you're saying Russia is not winning in the sense that nobody can win a war between two nuclear powers, that might be a good statement. But I think you're wrong. Russia's economy is booming. Their military industry is also very strong. Their financial situation is not only stable but thriving. Oil revenues are up. They're ready for an American century while we listen to you and CNN. Hey, Ian, I don't want to mess with that guy. I had a friend that used to say, would point somebody out and say, he'd point a guy like Ian out to me. We'd be walking down the sidewalk and he'd point a guy like Ian out. He'd say, "Hey, Bill, you know what that guy just called you?" I said, "No, what? What did he call me?" And I was so gullible. First couple of times I fell for it. "He called you an asshole." And I'd get all, and my friend would grab me. He said, you know what the answer to that is?" So I don't know. He said, he's right. Anyway, I guess you had to be there. Hey, Amby, great dog. Wow, 45 shares in total, Daryl. You could be a wealthy guy. I would love it. I would love everyone here to become wealthy. I wonder if he howls at his cats. Lucky is a lover, not a fighter. Third day of trading now, not one single share of short borrowed GTI. Stop listening to this Kremlin propaganda. God, DBMM, there's no reason we should be going to war with Russia. We do not have competing economic or military interests, although they're developing now. After we forced them out of the dollar banking system, after Victoria Nuland and her types ignored the Minsk agreements, and after Hillary Clinton lost the election. Well, no, she won it. See, that's an election we're allowed to talk about. She won 3 million more votes out of California, but the antiquated and obviously anti-democratic and obviously in collusion with Putin system we have, which allows certain states to get more power than their population allows, she wasn't allowed to win. And it was all because of the Putin influence on Facebook and the Steele dossier and Russia. Putin caused Hillary to lose, and it's so unfair. So therefore, DBMM, we need to go to war with Russia. That Russia meant that when Trump was president, he could not even call Putin. What should have happened, DDM, is he should have gone to Moscow and sat with Putin, or vice versa, or both. But you think it's fun and games. You think that from sitting in your armchair and listening to Rachel Maddow, that we're going to somehow win this. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. The only way we could win is to launch the doomsday bombs. And as Gorbachev said, no one won the Cold War and no one would win the hot war. I added the rest. So I'm going to share my information as I see fit. And I will listen to all sources of news when my news services are nothing but crap here in the United States. Now you're calling me a Putin lover? This is what we're headed towards, guys. We have non-thinking emotionalism like this, and we're heading towards World War III. And that's why it's so critical, in my judgment, to get your financial life in order. And to me, one of those pieces is silver. Hey, John, I don't have any quarterly guidance other than what I understand is the revenue that they could not recognize last quarter. They're going to start this quarter off with that recognition and start the year off with that recognition. So you really could have a gangbusters quarter. That's all I've heard. I don't know the exact numbers. Hey, Brenda. I saw that news. Oh, that's good. I like the idea of CAUD for more than one reason. But you have, hey, John, you have to Narad, you have to understand that it may take longer than just a heartbeat, but I like it. Okay, sorry, I didn't see this. I like that, Sulo. I like that. Thank you very much for the $5. Hey, lucky boy, I love you. Are you going to live to 19? Are you? You're not sure? He's so slow. Thank you, Sojo. Hey, Miles. Yeah, they might be. We'll find out. There's no question there's a battle going on behind the scenes. Dr. Jill and Michelle and Hill herself. And then you've got Pelosi with Glad Hand Newsom. Arca says finger will drop to $1. He says sell and buy back. I trust quant analysis, but you can't control him. Well, if you were to sell to buy back, you could hedge yourself by buying some calls. So you would limit your proceeds. The chart doesn't look good. I mean, I have to agree if you're going by charts. I don't know. Soon Pickleball Elite. Sharon Tell. Wow. Hey, Steve. Putin laughed at us because Nate and war marketing to steal more money. Yeah, I don't know if the gentleman DBM ever does it, but I try to listen to his annual speech just to see what he's saying. I usually can't get through it all, but it's pretty amazing how forthright he is. And what's this? Counterfeit shares everywhere. I like that, Pilot. All right, here comes the voice. Well, hang on a second. I had the speaker ready for you, but I got to hook it up again. Yeah, you'll be on here in a second.
Battery 40%. Connected to Bill's iPhone.
All right. You should be live. You're live.
All right, everybody, it's not to buy or sell, blah, 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 blah. Fuck the SEC, the same nonsense. Let's go. I just want to let you know, I was trying to teach my daughter how to trade a stock. And I started out, and I'll walk everybody through it so you understand it. And I was teaching her about George, David, Charlie, only because the stock spiked this morning and then straight back down. So I went to bar chart, and I looked up, and I said, okay, what volume did it go up on? It was moving up on 50,000 shares to buy at 9:30. And right after that, someone sold in 3 waves 200,000 shares to drive it from 265 back down to 205.
Unbelievable.
And I said, if I was trading, that's the spike that I'd be buying on that dip, because that to me was a clear case of manipulation. I told her that if you did pay $210 for it, like right where it is right now, and you bought yourself 2,000 or 3,000 shares, this is the spot where I would be stepping in and buying it as a trader. It's very difficult to trade manipulation, but to me, that would be the perfect spot to buy it because it hit 265. And we started looking at the volume afterwards. When I told her about it, it was 743. And the hour and a half, it's traded 15,000 shares. So after the quick dump as many shares as possible, it stopped trading. So whoever the manipulator was wanted it down here again. And this is the time I would take a shot on it. And I was trying to teach her that. So I thought I could tell you exactly what I was trying to teach her. And I said, if you could scoop it up down here, 210, it's a good spot. Obviously you always want to try to pay 207, so whatever, but 210 would be a perfect spot because I just showed her the spike up, the attack down, and that's how you can trade manipulation. All right. When the volume dries up, like finger motion, the finger motion has stopped trading. All the shorts have done, besides the price being manipulated down, is take the momentum out of the stock. That's what their game was, to stop the momentum. They want people to move along. All right. Unfortunately for them, I worked on a trading desk, and between me and my friends, we have some of the biggest mouths on the street. And we always keep this stock on the tip of our tongue to everybody. All right. So this is not a stock that's just going to go away because no one's talking about it anymore. All right. So they picked the wrong people. We're all Wall Street people, and we don't mind it slowing down and going sideways a little bit. That doesn't mean anything to us. As long as everything's going well with the company, we could sit here and stand for it. At the end of the day, we know they have to buy back 205 million shares and counting. All right. So at the time right now, hold on a second. I just tried to hang up with something. So at the time right now, where there's no volume in it, where are they going? They stopped. They're just playing games back and forth. This morning, finger motion traded all the volume this morning before, right at the opening, then it stopped again. All right. So again, it's the same pattern, same thing. The company addressed the earnings where people will call me up, oh, it's down. So the company addressed it. There you go. Now you can see that they're actually moving to profitability like we heard. Correct, William?
Yep.
If you just read the press release today, it tells you. It's right there. I posted it 6 or 7 times so everybody can see it. I see your friend Don Fizz with Cory Booker. I don't care who he goes with. Get it done. Just keep going. So again,
I heard General Flynn today
really?
for VP. Is that what you were talking about?
No, I'm talking about Don Fizz.
Oh,
With,
Don Fizz for VP.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. There's 2 things I wanted to address. I'm just trying to clear my head here a second. I had to go see a shareholder this morning. She owns 50,000 shares. She's down $1.50, so she's not. She's an attorney and doesn't follow the markets that well. So I went and brought her up to speed on everything in finger motion. So that's what she owned. So I sat down with her. So again, if you look at the press release this morning that came out from Finger, I'm trying to look. I actually copied it here. Give me 1 second, William. Take it easy, William. Stop yelling. Gross profits from the 9 months ended November 30th was 3.1 million versus 1.7 in the 9 months ended November 30th, 2022. I don't know about you, but they're going the right way. Okay, they're complicated things that accounting, I guess where they do things, and that's what the miss was. So I guess going forward, things will start to get ramped up with the real numbers. You can start seeing it behind it now. It's right there in the press release. Anybody wants to read it, go read it yourself, educate yourself. It's not hard to read. Okay, it's right there. All right, that was one thing. The second thing, the company, we all talked about, excuse me for 1 second, we talked about all these countries now fighting the shorts. China, the country has been decimated because the investors in China are staying away from the market through the short sellers. So they're banning the short sellers. I keep trying to tell people short selling is great, and it's been presented to us like we need it by the short sellers. I don't understand why we even need it. They keep saying it for market liquidity. Finger motion has been the shit short out of it. GTI, same thing, and they never even buy back anything. They just keep selling more. So whoever keeps selling everybody this awful plan, it's been going on 100 years. It's good because the short sellers, everybody makes money from it. Stock loan, right? They make a fortune from it, William, right? Goldman Sachs makes 75% of their money from stock loan. That's why short selling is wonderful. And it's short selling. If anybody ever wanted to go short a stock, okay, William, and it's on the hard to borrow list, you can never get it. The only stocks you get to short are stocks that you don't want to short. That's the only time you get because otherwise everyone else is on all these great. Whenever stock gets squeezed and it goes crazy, you can't short it. You can't borrow the shares. I mean, so the game is rigged. So only certain people that pay a lot of commission always get the chance to borrow shares. If Stevie Cohen calls up and I want to short a stock, you don't think they're going to get it for him? Bend the rules a little bit for Stevie Cohen?
Yeah.
That's the game. That's the game, my friends. I want to borrow some shares of Beyond Meat when it was $250. You can't borrow it. Get lost. Yet there were people shorting it. Right? That's how it works. So short selling is designed for special people to profit from it, not you. Then you got the short and distort gang. They're tied to short selling. I still don't know where the positive thing is about short selling. Maybe someone can tell me one time because I still don't see it. All right. They short into the stocks. They blast them down. Then they put out fake reports, kill the companies, and people just lose money. That's short selling. That's what I see about it. And that's what I've always seen about it. I used to see people that were selling based on fundamentals, but that doesn't exist anymore. And you sit there, Pershing Square. Give me 1 second. I forgot the guy's stupid name from Pershing Square. Give me 1 second. He's bragging about how good he is this year again. Hold on 1 second. Persian Square, Persian Square. Give me a second. Easy, William. Stop putting the pressure on me. I can only go so fast.
I'm not putting pressure on you.
I just forget the guy's stupid name all the time.
Frank?
No, give me 1 second.
Bob?
Persian Square. Give me a second. Bill Ackman,
Oh, Bill
Persian
Ackman.
Square, makes the list of the top hedge funds after falling off 9 years ago. He's been basically a short seller. Bill Ackman, monster player. He got run over in Herbalife by Carl Icahn because Bill Ackman came out, shorted the stock, went on CNBC and everywhere else and told everyone it was a fraud. Well, he was completely wrong. Everyone investigated Herbalife. Carl Icahn and his friends squeezed him, and he got squeezed out. He lost $70 in the stock. He got blown out of the water. He lost billions of dollars trying to defend and hold down Herbalife. He got run over. He's a professional short seller. What did he do? Shorted and distorted. You can go out there and Google it yourself. Herbalife, what do you call, vitamin company, I guess what it is. I forgot what it is, supplement company. He called it a pyramid scheme or fraud, whatever he did. He was on TV banging the drums. Carl Icahn came in and ran him over. That's a short, distort, and that battle fought out all over, and no one ever got in trouble for it. It was like no big deal. He yelled fraud, fraud, fraud. What's going on? Who's the short seller in RUM? And he's the same one in SJSY. I keep blank. SJYL. Is that it?
ZJYL.
Okay, ZJYL. That's the same idiot yelling there too. He's in both those names. They come out, they short it, then they come out with their story. The company's a fraud. The company's being investigated. You name it. We can all do this. We should all be doing it. I'm telling you, all you have to do is come out and make up a great story, get someone to write stories for you, and just have everybody go on Twitter at the same time. We get 500 of us. You barrage the world that the company's under attack, the SEC investigation, the FBI, everybody. All you got to say, that's what you're hearing, and the stocks will start drifting downwards. We could become the new Andrew Left, Bill Ackman, Jim Chanos, very famous short seller, right? That's what they all did. They all did the same thing. So short selling to me is a complete scam, right? It's here to steal your money. And they bend the rules and they favor these guys because they pay commission. And the back offices on Wall Street are definitely, they're not even, there's no regulation. Very good. Hold on. There was an article today, and someone posted it. The Cornell Law School, 18 U.S. Code, I think it says S471, Obligations of Securities of the United States. Whoever with the intent to defraud falsely forges, counterfeits, or alters any obligation or security of the U.S. shall be fined under the title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. That's the Cornell legal information. It's right there. And these guys belong in jail. There's nothing more I can say. It's right there. And yet we sit here and we got to watch this nonsense every day. We saw China. The people complaining that South Korea, the one thing you're going to get, William, is everyone's going to attack these countries. You can't say this. It's good for you. You can't have that. This is the world financial system based on U.S. That's what they keep trying to sell these countries. You can't do this. India, taking no shit. They have millions and millions of people that need to make money. People trying to rob Thailand. I've been to Thailand. There's a lot of poverty there. You don't think these people, wouldn't it be great if someone could become a millionaire, hire people to work, buy a house, fix it up, and make the economy grow, go out to dinner every night? Wouldn't that be great for a country? Instead, anyone who does any good in Thailand, these guys are shorting it. Same thing in China. I don't know why anybody would put up with it. They should be executed as far as I'm concerned. They're destroying they destroy you. They destroy your company, your country. That's what they do in the U.S. Think how many people here on these calls, including myself, would love to pay capital gains tax, right? Oh, I made a fortune. Pay some my tax. Here's my tax. I'll pay it. I want to take my family on a vacation, buy a new car, blah, 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 blah. Hire someone to shovel the driveway, you name it. You spend money when you make money. When you don't make money, we all suffer. The government gets no taxes from us. We don't go out and spend any money. We got the Kramers, the Lynn Partners, the Adam Long, whatever, Yorkville, those people. They're going out and having a party. And there's 20 people versus thousands of us. You know, look at the stock run today. It squeezed up to, where was it? What was the high on it today? 488. It trades normal, 1.5 million. It's traded 16 million shares already. It's up 90 cents. What's the race to dump it so fast? Who bought 16 million shares to sell it up $1? Hurry up, get me out. William,
I'm here.
do you guys, do you understand all the stuff I'm saying? Or am I crazy?
You are crazy, but I understand it.
Well, that's the most important thing. Finger motion is down 3 cents after being attacked from 7 down. Below $3. Put the pressure on it. Hurry up. Keep holding it down. Sell 200 shares back and forth all day. And we have to sit there and watch it. And I got it. It sucks watching it. But the company's a good company and it's doing the right thing. But there's no protection. So the company needs to take off their gloves and start fighting with bare knuckles and knock these guys out. And I believe they will. So let them keep playing the games, Lynn. If you're listening, we're not going away. Trust me, you will be the star of this show. I will get you. We will get the FBI, the Secret Service. They're going to get you. So keep playing. We're not going away. And the word will spread when the company starts doing stuff. We'll make sure the whole street knows about it when it's showtime again. But until then, when it comes out, accumulation is always the proper way to play names like that. Just like I said, I told my daughter in GDC, I was using it only because of the volatility today. And you can see that it spiked big volume and then it stops all day. And then you see the wash trades come in. Wash trades are important tool for the short sellers because all of a sudden they create volume. And when it goes to the downside, they want people to say, oh, you see the selling, look at all the selling in the name. But William knows if people want to go back in time in GTII, whenever we had good news, Charlie Mayo, one of the short sellers, the stooge of the Kramers, we called him, he was a research analyst there. He would come out with his sell recommendation. The company put out news and they'd be selling it at pre-market, just trying to mark it down. Believe it or not, I think I've seen about 10 or 12 raids in pre-market in GTII, and no one can trade pre-market but the criminals. And they were doing that in GTII for a long time. I remember one time the stock was $1.15 in the early days, William. It spiked up to $1.15. The next day they were offering it at 90 cents, 80 cents pre-market, trying to knock it down. But when it turned and it ran back into the green that day, that's when the game really began to the long side. Because they tried to knock it out and it didn't work. That was going back, I don't know, 100 years ago. So this is everything that you're seeing, history repeats itself. You have to learn what happened in the past so you can trade for the future. That's how you got to look at this stuff. Any questions, William?
Yeah. One question is, can you talk about ZJYL and GDC? I know you just did, so you don't have to do more.
I'm like, I had to think for a second. I think I just did.
No, I know, but it's just.
I will talk about it for absolutely. Listen, that's what it's about. Give me the questions. That's all you can take. That's what that's what it is. All right, I'll start with ZJYL. I haven't looked at it today. Let me take a quick gander at it. ZJYL. It's 95. It's a $9 spread, almost a $10 spread. It is a $10 spread, almost. So ZJYL, they are announcing a forward split. And William, what is that date again? So I can make
Well,
sure I
it's
get it
the
right.
29th in China. No, it's the 30th in China, and it's in the evening on the 29th here.
And that is when the company will announce the results.
Right. Well, that's when the votes are due. I assume they can announce it right away.
I don't know if when they can announce it, but I'm told that the votes from the big people that I know, the votes, they already have it already. And William, did you get your vote yet? I don't know.
I haven't received the documents, but
William hasn't received the documents for his
let me
17
look.
shares.
Let me look. I didn't look this today, but I assume it'll come either by mail or by email. You know, I'm on E-Trade, so it should come, but I haven't gotten it yet. Let me see.
Well, William, your good friend, our good friend, texted us on Saturday. He said he voted already, correct?
I know, but he's a gentleman. Nobody gets mad at
He
him.
said he voted already, and the people I know voted already. So
Something
lot of
wrong
times-
with me? You're saying there's something wrong with me?
a lot of times, William, William's like a beautiful mind. He thinks he's trading. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
William thinks he's trading. No, I'm only kidding. But people, sometimes when you vote, you have to take a share of vote, and there's more shares short than versus long. The longs have more shares than there are shares available. The brokerage firms have to somehow spread these votes out so that everyone can get a vote. Like William may get a vote, but it may be for one share. Most people don't check how many shares they're voting. So that's a trick that the brokerage firms do. So I was curious to see if you do get it, or sometimes you just don't get it. People look at it and say, I got 20 shares of this thing. I'm not going to vote. What's the big deal? When am I going to change the world?
Right.
And that's how they turn people against us.
But you're saying it's important for everybody to vote.
Voting for everything is important, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason for people to vote. It's your voice. You could say what you like. But I'm trying to look for the name of the short seller. I forgot the name of the whoever that idiot is. They went out. I told the story in that ZJYL. The short seller came out and he blasted the stock, saying that's when the stock was running to 120 again. Oh, what's that again? Stop the upward momentum, William. Correct? It's funny when the stock's always going, they always want to stop the momentum to the upside. So they were nice enough to come out and put it on Twitter that they were calling the authorities on everybody. All right, that's what it's called. Culper Research, CULPER. He came out. It was we're short the stock now. After he reported it that the company's a fraud, he then came out and said he's short. If he came out and said, I wrote a report and I'm going to short it right now, I would have respect for him. But I have no respect for him because he shorted it first. And he was nice enough to tell the world that what he's doing, that he's reporting it to the SEC and the NASDAQ. So it's a short and distort, all right, versus having the balls to put out a statement and then say, I'm going to go short it. So again, the same pattern always is. These guys short it first, and they come out and they yell fire in the movie theaters, and that's what they do. All right, that's the same pattern. And on that stock, CJYL, with the upcoming forward split approval of 20-1, Culver Research now has a problem because his short position, if it was 1 million shares, he's now going to be 20 million shares. So his problem's just going to get bigger by 20 times. So he better keep calling the SEC and move quicker because his margin problem's coming down the road quickly. And that's the ZJYL. What else do I know about it? Zero. A good friend of mine, Williams, we know he owns a lot of it, is why I even spoke about it. He also owns GDC, and he said GDC expects to go to $50 a share. He owns 1 million shares. When, why, I don't know. I just watching it. like you are. That's all I'm doing. Every time it starts to move, they come in and blast it.
So GDC might have a target as high as $50. What's the target for ZJYL?
30,000.
30,000. Okay.
That came right off my tongue quick, right?
Yeah.
How can I forget that number when I was told it?
Can the DTC or
No,
SEC prevent ZJYL from forward splitting?
no.
Okay. If the approval comes for the forward split, how long does it take for the record date? I think it's 10 days, but you've got to notify.
No, I'm pretty sure they're going to tell you right out of the gate.
Yeah,
You
we'll
they'll
know
tell you
right
that.
away.
They'll know right away.
The 30,000 skinny is pre-split. Post-split, you got to
Yeah,
divide
it's gonna
that
be
by
different.
20.
Yeah, you got to go down. You got to go down.
$1,500 post-split.
Right. You'll have more shares, so the number will be down. So it's different. Remember, you're going to get shares. You're getting more shares. This is not a reverse. This is a forward split.
And then you have questions on GTII, new consultant, Trento Mine, anything.
Yes, there's deals that are being presented to the company, and I'm not in that decision making prior. I'm not involved with that, so I don't know. And I'm just looking at finger motion. Down 5 cents on the report of clarifying their earnings that they're going to be profitable. Hurry up, let me move it down. Every day it's the same stupid pattern, and we have to watch it. These guys all belong in jail for life for the manipulation. And if you saw that, I think it was a woman who died in MMTLP recently. I forgot. It was a woman. Well, you told me the other day. I think it was. That's like the third person who passed away from that.
Oh,
gang,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's,
Right.
CB, I'm never speaking to CB again. CB told me that I really should use my email. So I think he's a jerk, or she. But no, you're not. You're right. There it is. It's in my email. I can vote. I was just
There you
looking
go.
at my account. So I'll vote right now.
So everybody, there's another. Williams was the vote that put it over. As soon as he does it, they've. I'm going to put it up on Twitter right now. William just voted in CJYL, and that put the count over. That's my guess.
So I'm saying for submit vote.
Does it
I
proper
voted.
amount of-
Yay.
Does it tell you the shares?
Let me go back. I have to go back. I don't know. It signed me out. I don't know why, but let me look at the email. Go to proxy vote. It didn't tell me how many shares. No.
Okay.
It just
That's
told me to
surprising.
vote. So that's how they get away with it. You don't know how many shares they're actually voting for you, right?
That I'm trying to find out what the number is. I have no idea. Okay, just voted. William Francis voted. Based on that, the company now has the votes needed to forward split the stock.
I assume it didn't say how many shares, but that's my 17 shares is going to change the world. You were right, CB. I was wrong. And it came on Saturday.
All right, everybody's voting, William, but you.
I
The
voted.
problem is we don't know what the thing is.
I voted. I voted.
But again, so the company's doing it to add more shares, and it actually kills the it throws a big wrench into the crooks. All right, because now they don't get more money; they're just short 20 times more. There's no more money for them. All right, it's like they just waved a wand, And you know what? Now you have more shorts. Finger motion doesn't want to disrupt their market cap. They have 24 million shares in the float, 50 million outstanding. They could do a forward split, but why would you want to increase it? Right? They got a nice company here at the right price, the right buy. I mean, the right shares outstanding. It's it's right there. It's perfect. If they did a forward split at 10-1, all of a sudden we would have 24 million times 10. That's how big the float would be then, and then the outstanding would be 50 million. It'd be 10 times 10. It'd be 500 million, right?
Right.
So that would disrupt the market cap. But a company with only 1 million shares in it, now to have 20 million shares, that's right in the zone, right, William?
Yeah.
That's a good place to be.
I don't know if you follow PHUN, but according to Skinny Whale, there's 185 million shares outstanding. And the float's 185 million. Outstanding shares is 193 million. And today it traded 634 million.
600, almost 660 million shares.
All right, 660 now.
And everybody's it's all over it. It had a big run to 40 cents. It's 39. And everybody wants in and out at the same prices. Listen, Wall Street's about volume. They're selling volume. Okay. Guys are shorting against it. They want volatility and they want volume. That's all the game is.
The other one that's up today is DWAC, DWAC. I guess
that's social networking. Wow. I saw that thing was like $12 not too long ago. $15, something like that. Look at it. It was sideways and then boom. That's what happens, people. When you least expect it, that's what's going to happen.
I am woman, hear me roar.
Right.
What can you explain Finger hiring share intel?
High range share intel?
Finger hired share intel. What will happen with that?
When did they hire them?
According to Miles Bradley, they did it. I didn't know it.
If they did it, it was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. We talked about it a long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, the information there, if the company's fighting the Lynn partners, share intel is basically pointed their fingers that they have a problem, right? Why would a company fight the shorts if there wasn't intel that they are shorted, right? That's how I look at it. To the extent, I don't know what the company was told or how big it is, but using my own caveman tactics, I can count it up every day. It's pretty easy.
So will ZJYL's price move up after or before the forward split?
I think you're going to see it before. I think right now they're standing and we're standing and they're waiting for someone to blink. They're trying to get people to bail out. This is how it works. In finger motion, they're sitting here trying to move it back and forth. Hopefully people dump it. If no one dumps it, they're going to turn to be a buyer. Just like DWAC. They tried to kill it, couldn't kill it, and now it stocks up to $40 again. That's a big jump. And
Yeah.
there's big shorts still in that name. Look at that stuff. It was the high as 40, almost 48 today. On 20 average volume, 500,000 shares. Today, 21 million shares. Nothing strange here, William, right?
Yeah.
The SEC should come out and address. They said they need to come out and address all the volume in these stocks. How does it happen? Where does it come from?
They're saying I can tell you the number of shares I voted, but I missed it somehow. I'll look again.
Okay, no problem. I just reposted the I posted the thing about you putting the votes over. I posted the thing from Cornell Law School about the laws of the U.S. You see that, William? Have you read that?
Cornell, no.
Obligations of I posted it on Twitter 600 times this morning. The laws of the USA, 18 U.S. Code, I think it says S-471, obligations or securities of the United States. You're playing games, you're going to jail. That's it.
All I know is high above Cayuga's waters, there's an awful smell. Some say it's Cayuga's waters. I say it's Cornell.
Are you okay?
That's all I know about Cornell.
I was like, you having a stroke? You okay?
Am I having a stroke? Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
F Cornell, these guys. Forget that Ivy League nonsense.
Maybe I'm
Anyway,
having a stroke.
we're pretty calm today, everybody. So let's pick up the questions here. Let's start
All right, let's
rock and
see.
rolling here.
Is there a play? Is there any play the shorts have left after a forward split, or do they stay in?
I am not a forward split expert. Okay, but we're going to see it, right? Real time. You get to see it today. You're going to get to see it in the next 8 days. Am I correct? Something like that. Let's see what happens. Everyone's saying, well, there's a forward split. Well, let's what more do you want? You're getting a lesson in real time. To me, that's outstanding, right?
This guy's going
We
to
don't
never
have to go.
listen.
We don't have to go dig it up. You're going to get to see it in a stock right now. Let's see what happens. Obviously, there's a problem here for Culver Research to come out and start calling the company a fraud. You guys don't realize that. You can band together with 10, 20 people and just do your short. No one locks anybody up for it. What's the difference?
It's easier than selling drugs across the.
Just go out there, buy puts, and just go out there and say, hey, the guy buying puts, even though it's yourself, they say the company's a fraud. The CEO is a crackhead. That's what you got to. They even tried to do that to Elon Musk, calling him a drug dealer. He uses drugs. Who wants a guy using drugs to be the head of a company? Well, a guy like that, put him in that, and he can sit there. I'll buy him his drugs if he's that good. Are you kidding me? These are all tricks that shorts use. They all use this. It's the same pattern. I posted something from a couple of years ago, a mining company, a Bitcoin mining company. Well, you got to keep up on Twitter because you would have plenty of questions for me if you paid attention. I got to scold you a little bit, William. I'm looking for the story this morning, and someone sent it to me. It was on CoinDesk. A Bitcoin miner was going to merge with another company, and the shorts came out. It's always the same pattern. Here it is. No, that was us. Hold on. Yeah, Bitcoin miner. Let me read it to you. Take 1 second, William. Bitcoin miner, HUT 8, HUT 8. Shares tanked 23% amid short sellers saying that the company JC Capital Research reported warning investors an upcoming pump and dump. Upcoming pump and dump. These guys don't even know how to write a story. They're talking about that they're preparing to dump the stock. Insiders are preparing to dump the stock after they announced a merger with another company. They were placing HUT and investors in harm's way.
Wow.
Wait, they admit to being short side based on the website. They were going after the $725 million merger deal. And that the company USBTC has a history of legal trouble. Okay, so the company who tried to merge has legal troubles. How's that one? These guys it's the same goddamn thing. This guy wrote a story worrying about a future pump and dump on a merger. Thank you to JC Research. There you go. Just another one. They did it to FHOT. They did it to Finger Motion. They're doing it to ZJYL. Is everyone starting to recognize what's going on here yet? Go start an LLC. You short it there, then you can put out whatever you like. And if anyone ever knocks on your door, say, hey, everybody does it. It's freedom of speech. That's all you have to say. I'm shorting the stock based on that the company's a fraud. Could be Apple Computer. Apple Computer is making children make their iPhones, or Nike having slave labor in China making their sneakers. Remember all those stories all the time?
Yeah.
They try to bring down all companies. Oh, we got 2 kids that made a pair of sneakers in China. It's the same thing all the time. You can say whatever you like. How do you combat that? How do you combat it, William? There's one way. You force stock settlement. No one's going to play or do anything wrong if you can't short it, because you can't illegally short more than you can possibly do. You can't borrow the shares, correct?
That's the theory.
Right? So these guys are illegally shorting ZG, ZJYL. There's no shares to buy, to lend out. Interactive Brokers is lending out more shares than there is in the company, and it's in writing. I don't know if I posted it, but I've gotten pictures of it. They're lending out shares that don't exist. How's that one? Lending it, borrow it, you could pay them. They put it by mistake. That shows you the back offices are out of control. They don't even know what's going on.
Does your friend still think ZJYL is going to 30,000, which I think you
Yes.
just answered?
My friend is in New York City. I hope to see him. I'm waiting for him to fly in, and I'll go see him in person. And I'll get you a better answer. Maybe I could try to ask him and say, could you hurry up? How's that one?
I don't know anything about the Basel 111.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I guess it's something that the elites are figuring out in Switzerland. But the question is, will that cause a rug pull on the markets? I personally,
Wait. Tell me, William, bring me up to speed. What the hell are you talking
I
about?
don't know what the hell. Let me Google Basel 111. It's not Art Basel. I think it's the International Regulatory Framework for Banks.
Yeah, it's one word. Steal whatever you can.
Yeah.
Whatever that. One line.
Capital
Sorry,
requirements. I guess there's some news on it. There's an end game. The Basel III end game, sweeping new global rules on banking. The U.S. economy would face a perfect storm if Basel III endgame goes into effect. I think you need.
No, listen. We need a banker here to explain it.
You need Hillary or Kamala or Michelle to be elected president for that to happen, I think. But I think
I posted on Twitter. I called out Pat Burns. Said, remember what you told us? He told us that if Trump gets in, he's going to fix naked short selling immediately. So vote for Trump. Okay, that's all I can tell you. I don't care what other policies Trump has. I want this cleaned up. That's it. Then you guys can go curse him out.
So obviously, Daniel Borders has more access to your friend than you do, because Daniel Borders is posting on Twitter that GDC is making a deal which will change it all. Read Daniel Borders' post. He's like a god to me.
Good for him.
He's a god to me. If Daniel says it, it's got to be great.
Yeah, well, that's good enough for me. I don't care who says it. Make it go higher. That's it.
Basil 3 is good, but parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme is better.
Good one, whoever said that.
Well, you can guess.
Oh, not Richard.
You can
Richard
guess who said that. If you had to cover ZJYL, how many days before the split would you start buying? I think when it starts going against you,
They can't, William.
they're
listen,
playing
people, you
chicken
gotta
with each
understand
other. They're playing chicken.
That this is a game of chicken. Exactly what's going on here. That's the same thing that's going on finger motion. Lend partners and their friends, their offshore buddies are sitting here shorting it. They can read the news. They know what's coming. They listen to our calls. All right. The FBI listens to our calls. I'm sure the shorts are here also. All right. It's a game of chicken. They're sitting here waiting to see when we're going to buy it. And I'm looking at it saying, okay, if I sold the stock short at 7, you bet your ass I'm buying it below 3 to cover. But they know if they start buying it, there's no selling. They won't be able to cover anything.
So it was 262. I don't think that's where it is now.
No, they doing it. They hit the bid, and then they offer again. What they do, everyone, the stock goes 260 to 262. They sell 2,000 to 260. The guy who pays 260, who bought the 2,000, he turns around and sells it at 258. Then the guy who buys it at 258, he turns around and sells it at 256. So they sell the same 2,000 shares or 500 back and forth all day long. That's all they're doing. Because there's actually, if everyone was frozen and only real orders and real sellers can come in, the stock wouldn't even be trading. But they need to create the movement. That's what they're doing. That's what they try to do. That's all they're doing. And that's why you get some of these stocks with all these crazy volume. They're washing trades back and forth. They need to cover. If you have a failed trade from 3 months ago and the stock starts to go up, you're a prime broker. Someone's going to look for delivery. And they'll call you up and say, hey, William, you sold 600,000 shares of DWAC. And you go, that wasn't delivered? Let me call Morgan Stanley up. I'll call you right back. Then you go out and you cross all kinds of stock. And then you just say, okay, Morgan Stanley didn't deliver it. I apologize. But here's my ticket today. I just bought 600,000 shares from Joe Blow. And he clears E-Trade.
You know Joe?
Yeah, Joe Blow, I know him very well. So anyway, you cross 600,000. You show the person that's looking for delivery, saying, okay, William's got proof that he just bought it. So he can deliver it now. And they say, okay, thank you. And now William is short in a new account. That's all. That's what they do. It's like floating a check, kiting a check. That's what they're doing.
Floating a check, kiting a check. Yep.
Kiting a check, or just floating funds. People use credit cards to pay off a different credit card, right? They try everything. That's what these guys are doing.
Capital requirements are increasing tomorrow by 20%. I guess that's what Basel III is about.
The banks are concerned that when things get ugly, everybody's going to walk away from their trades. Who's been telling you everybody's going to walk away from their trades? Right here, right?
Daniel Borders has been saying it. I don't know where you've been.
Well, thank Daniel for that. I'm stealing his lines, and I apologize, Mr. Borders. If he has any other lines he wants me to tell, please give them to me.
Yeah, stop stealing his moves. Basel III means banks need so much capital to be in compliance. Huge disruption. Starts in 2025. They will have to allocate more money to be in compliance.
So the banks, you deposit your money, the banks gamble with it, and when they lose it, they get bailed out.
There you go.
That's how it works. And that's all. And they blame everybody. They blame the retail all the time. It's your fault, William.
Did you not know GDS is selling millions of shares in Singapore and diluting the shares, says Daniel Borders. I did, in fact, know that they had filed to sell shares, but I didn't know that it was causing massive dilution. So let's look it up.
What company is that?
That's GDS. I knew that they had filed a prospectus.
What is GDS? I don't even know what that is.
God, David, Sam.
Is that something we talked about before? I don't even know the name.
Yeah, you've talked about it. GDS Holdings. Let me just see the filing.
Oh, it's $5.80.
No. Oh, is GDS something else?
I don't know what it is.
GDC
I
is
can
what
talk-
we're talking about. You're right.
Oh, so you said that they're selling millions of shares in
Well,
Singapore.
maybe it is true. Let me look. GDC. I saw something this weekend when I was, yeah, they have a unregistered share of securities. Entered in, that's so hard for me to see, read. Cover page. Common stock. I don't think it's as big as this guy's. It's not the end of the world, but
Listen, if my friend's in it, he knows what's going on. So end the conversation. I'll get you the answer on it when I see him. Listen, if the company was selling shares like someone is saying, the stock would be 50 cents.
well, no, there was. I'm just trying to find it. Here it is. There were 5,853,000 of our shares on January 11th. Yeah, I'm not sure this is the one that was issuing stock. Leader Landscape. One of the stocks we followed is, as previously reported, the company entered into an amended and restated equity purchase agreement with Shanghai Highlight Entertainment Co. Prior to the agreement, Shanghai Highlight owned 60% of the total equity interest in Zhangzhou Technology, and Beijing Hehe owns 20%. Pursuant to the agreement, Shanghai Highlight agreed to purchase the 13.333% equity interest in the joint venture from Beijing Hehe, and the company agreed to issue 400,000 shares at $2.78. That hardly seems like that's millions. And Daniel Borders says they're doing it.
Stop the conversation already. So listen, companies need to do things. What are they going to pay him with? Not everybody's good looking as William. So you got to use something. They need some currency. So if they gave someone shares, who gives a shit? They're trying to build their business. If they're building a business that's fraudulent, okay, they would have gave the guy the shares at below the market, not at 275. The guy can't do anything at 275. But it's nothing. He loses money. Listen, stop blaming the companies. Everyone's always looking for, companies have to put it in paper and filings, what they're doing. The criminals hit a sell button. Can you just focus on that? I got it. There's some companies are bad, but I do believe that companies are doing things right, and everybody accuses them falsely because the shorts can twist it any way they want. Oh, the guy they gave them stock to, he's a criminal. He just robbed a bank. He was on Jeffrey Epstein's island. That's what they'll say anything. I told you it's easy. Go on the short side. If you want to be a basher, it's easy. Just go and do it. I don't do it because it hurts companies. And the companies have to fire people. They lay off people. They take their salary. It's so disruptive. I could never do it. But you can make money from it. Good luck. Listen, if Apple was going to come out, we knew, and someone on this phone said, hey, Apple's coming out tomorrow, and their iPhones are going to be shut down because they're whatever. How could you not take a shot by put on that? You know, it's not, a company made a mistake, whatever it may be. Take a shot. I would take a shot on that. Hey, it's up to whatever price it is. Everyone who owns it, if they have to dump it, this thing's going to get created, right? So you take a shot. That's the way I would play on the short side. Only time I would ever do it. I told you, I was told to buy puts in Shopify. It went down $60. I didn't bail out. My puts didn't go up in value that much. And the stock turned around and ran up $500. I got wiped out.
So this is what Daniel Borders says. If anyone believes anything the CEO of GNS says, you deserve to lose your money.
GNS.
Yeah, exactly. It's GNS. And I agree with Daniel 100%.
Oh, yeah. You were saying the different symbol, not GNS.
I know.
GNS.
This guy, I think it's GNS, not GDS.
Yeah, you said
GNS.
GDS. GNS. Yeah, that's what's his name.
You
Roger
deserve
Rabbit.
to lose your money. This is another never-ending dilution deal, selling millions of shares to firms you've never heard of in Singapore. So that's GNS leader landscape, not GDC.
Yeah, not GDS. I was looking at it. Like GD, we reported on GNS way before when he settled with a short seller. It was quietly in a filing. And I said, stay away from it. The stock, I don't know what price the stock was, about $1 maybe. I said, stay away from this thing. This guy settled. And what did he wind up doing? He wound up settling again, raised it. He turned it into a shit show.
I have to say, I didn't find that guy credible from the jump. I think Ham stood by him because he appeared to be fighting. To me, he was just a narcissist jumping in front with a what do you call them, drum major march. Hey, it's all about me. It's all about me. And he just took money from everybody. I wouldn't do a thing that Roger Rabbit, man with 3 first names, ever said. Anyway.
Well, he came out. I spoke with him. He said he was going to do a dividend. He had some FBI agent that was going to oversee it. He came out with a big noise on it. The stock was getting murdered from wherever it was. It was down a lot. Who knew? I have no idea what he was doing. But again, once he settled with the criminals, I knew it was over. Just like I told everyone at CELU, I posted it. You go back and look at the history, what I said about that stock. This company did a deal with Yorkville. I told them not to do it. These are great people. They just don't know their ass from their elbow, and they got ripped off. And I said, stay away. The stock was 80 cents. It went down to 20 or 19 cents. It's bounced back up to 30. The company probably came out with some cure today or something. That's why it's up 3 cents. I don't know what happened. Is there any news on it?
Well, GNS is down from, I don't know, 3 or 4. Now it's 34 cents.
Forget that stuff.
And what's the other one? MULM?
No, CELU.
Oh, CELU.
It's up today. It's been bouncing up. It was below 20 cents the other day. I said,
it gapped open. It gapped open.
The CEO
3 days
released a
ago.
letter. That's what the CEO confirms agreement with for its manufacture distribution of advanced something. He wrote a letter.
That looks interesting. It gapped open, and for 3 days it stayed there. Now it's making new short-term highs. Gets through 35, it could go to 39.
I mean, just you go read his press release. He wrote a letter to the shareholders. I mean,
Oh my gosh, that chart. Ugh.
He took money from the devils. Yorkville's one of the biggest group of scumbags on the street. That's who he's dealing with.
He took it at $11. Oh no, yeah, $11 maybe, and it's been downhill ever since.
And he keeps going back to the well. He took money from 80 cents from them. Then he took it. He did more at 50 cents. He lowered their warrants. And I posted on Twitter 50 times that somebody, if these guys own all the stock that they're buying here, how come their name is not in a filing? They never filed. I posted it 1,000 times. Stay away, stay away, stay away. Let's see their name. They're the biggest holder. That's because they're shorting it and they're just getting the stock and closing out their positions or whatever they're doing. They're hiding it all. Wouldn't you be a proud owner if you own the stock that's actually working on saving people's lives? Yes, but they never have a position. Lynn Partners, we only had 1,000 shares. They were around the stock for so long, right? They only have 1,000 shares. They're full of shit. I haven't had the time to go digging through it. All right. But if anybody wants to do a case study on it, go look at the investment in RWLK by Lynn. They've been adding, and they've owned 13 million shares now of RWLK. Okay. This is another company that makes a robotic to help handicapped people walk. The stock has been nothing but down. So if they had a debenture, okay, and they convert it and cover it and shows that they're now long, right? That doesn't mean the guy that's short to the right of him hasn't put $8 in his pocket, and these guys are spending $1 to make himself look like good people. Do you understand, William?
Yeah.
They have the debenture. So let's say I have the debenture. I'm Lynn. I call William up and say, William, short the shit out of this stock. And William goes, you got me covered? I got the debenture. Let me see it. I show him it. William knocks the shit out of it from 10 down to $1. So now they're up $8 in the stock, $9. And Jeffrey Easton goes, well, you know what, something? I'm going to buy the stock now and spend $1. And I'm going to show the world that I support this company. Meanwhile, he stole 8.
GDC's got huge volume today for them.
Yeah.
790,000.
But I've been teaching my daughters. We marked it down at 11:30 to 7:43. It's 785 the volume. So basically, 42,000 shares was traded in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And I said that's a sign that the manipulators have stopped. And the attack, because the attack went from 265 down to 204. And I'm trying to teach her, when you see the manipulation in the chart, I circle the chart, I showed her. I said, this is where I would buy it at $2.
So what's your point that the manipulation has stopped? What do you mean? They're not shorting anymore?
They sold over 200,000 shares to bring it back down to 205.
Right.
But then all of a sudden that attack ended.
Right.
The wave over 200,000 selling at the market ended. It was at 10 o'clock in the morning.
So how does that show that
everybody? Does it remind you of finger motion when they attacked it straight down as fast as they could? Then it stopped. It stopped at $4 for a while, right? Then it stopped before they began another wave of attacks.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand. You think the next move is up, or you think the next move is down, based on what?
In GDC, I think the next move is back up.
Okay.
Just based on what I'm seeing. I mean, if the company was doing something wrong or whatever, the wave would never stop, correct?
Right.
The wave stopped.
Gotcha.
So what they done is they sold into the buying today, drove it down and saying, okay, everybody dump it. No one sold it in GDC. No one's selling finger motions. The same pattern.
And are they crossing shares with each other right now?
Yes, they've been doing it for an hour, but very like 1,000, 800, 700. It keeps crossing, but it's very, very small. Because the volume stopped. I wish I had the money to buy some ZJYL. My gut feeling tells me, this is my gut feeling, that I got like 12 cents in my account, so I buy it. But I'm just saying that just trading wise, this thing looks like it's gonna scream soon. Every day they try to hold it down. It's always, the stock can pop up. By the end of the day, they always got a minus, 50 cents, $1. It's the same pattern. Sell 100 shares, 1 share, just trying to mark it down. Whenever you see guys trying to mark it down, that means the stock is going to turn. And that's what I see. That's what I see in finger motion. The same nonsense there. GTII it's parked its ass at 20. It popped up to 21 today. It was 28 the other day. They drove it from 28 to 20 cents. No one said anything about the attack. In 2 days, they were going after it like crazy.
To me,
we think the short GTI is 450 million shares. All right, we're all crazy. It's 20 million shares. Do you see anybody covering anything?
No.
I went from 450 to 20 million. Make it 10 million. I don't see anybody buying anything. So you can say these guys are full of shit all you want, but there is a short and they don't cover anything. That you can see. Clear as day. Finger motion, 205 million shares short. Okay, I'm completely wrong. There's 5 million shares short. We traded 155,000 shares. No one covers anything. You don't think there's a short in GDC? They don't cover anything. ZJYL, the guy's short. He told you he's short. They don't cover anything. You got to be out of your bird to stand here short ZJYL when the company knows what you do. The company knows that you're here. You made a statement. You called them a fraud. If I was that company, I would be torturing all day long. I would have more press releases coming out about trying to expose them than anything, because they are trapped. But I don't know the people, so I can't really get to them. I don't know them. I would punch that big mouth in the mouth, putting out the company's a fraud. And he's always right. He called Rum a fraud. He was calling them frauds. He's part of that gang too. Everyone understands how easy it is. So again, guys, when
I
we're
like
done
this.
with this nonsense, what's that?
This guy says if ZJYL goes to 30,000, look out, crooks. A lot of money will be going into Finger.
Oh, there's not. Listen, they don't want to let us off the hook because they know our army is my people and my army. They're out for blood. When they give us the crumb, we're going to cut all their heads off. That I can tell you.
I like
And we're
the
not.
chart on ZJYL.
Listen. The only reason we talk about it because it's got volatility. There's no. I would never play a stock like this unless I knew I got a feeling.
Well, it's got
about
way
something
too
already.
much risk to play it, doesn't it? It's got.
Yeah, it's a very risky stock. You got to, you're playing with. I have no idea if it's good, bad, or I have no idea. I don't have the energy. I'm not involved. All I'm doing is telling you what my friend's doing it. And he spoke with them, and he says he thinks the stock's going to 30,000 based on what he heard. Listen, the stock was 200 when he told me he's been buying it. So for him to say 30,000, I said the same thing. Are you okay? You want to take a breathalyzer test? Are you drunk? What are you talking about? He could have said 500. He could have said 1,000. No, he said 30. And this is someone that is not, it's pretty well versed in the equity market.
So this person is saying Ham seems like a cool Floridian. Does Ham think Vocal still has a chance?
Do I still think he has a chance now?
I don't think so either. I think
My friend gave him $4 million. My friend gave him $4 million. He's got wiped out. He hates the guy. He's done nothing but destroy his own company. He called my friends up and he told them that he wanted fast money out of the stock. And told my friends, they called me up and they dumped their stock. That was like 50 cents a while ago. And they called up yelling at me. He said, the CEO's calling him up, telling him, get out of my stock. I don't want fast money in it. I don't know why, but that's what he did. Now we're hearing that he's going to do a big reverse.
Yeah, I would just get out of
I hear it's going to be the biggest reverse in history. Not a reverse, the biggest one.
It's
Lynn Partners has money invested in this company. If they're not getting it out, what do you think they did? How do you think they got their money out of the stock? They shorted it.
kickbacks.
So now he wants to go back to them and do deals with them, obviously, because, listen, when you go back and you need the drugs, you go back to the drug dealers, right? So there's your answer. So he's offering drugs. He's a drug user. Let me go get my crack. I need some crack. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Give me my crack.
Yeah.
That's what happens to you. He'll wipe out everybody, reverse the stock, and he'll brag about how he's, break even or positive cash flow. And all the poor people that owned it, including my daughter and my family and my friends, all got wiped out and we all disappear. Just like CEI, right? They did the reverse. Root, they did the reverse. Go back to all the stocks. Mullen, all those people invested in Mullen, Root, all wiped out from reverses. That's what happens. And they move on again. I think that the companies should never be allowed to do the reverses, and the CEOs and the public and the guys in the company never a chance to survive again. So you better do it right the first time, right?
I would go along with that.
But stock settlement kills the companies because, listen, my friend invested in Vocal for a reason because he knew the shorts were there. They knew Lynn was there. And he thought that, this company would have it. He thought the company had great value in it. But it turned out to be a shit show. And the CEO aligned himself up with the short sellers again. So you tell me what it means.
So are you?
So if my friend gave you $4 million, right?
Yeah.
Would you line yourself up with the short sellers or my friend?
Well, I would go with your friend every time.
Well, because his stock went from 20 down to nothing. My friend got involved. It went from $1.17, went to $1.70.
Right.
And the shorts attacked it again. So obviously, the short sellers are here, and the CEO thinks that the short sellers are his friend. And now look what he has now. His stock is what? Was it a half a penny? I'm not even sure where it is.
It's 0.0055.
Whatever number that is. So again, I don't want to. I'm just trying to show you how they're preparing a dead body. There you go. And that's what they did.
So is the reason you and me, is it a reason that we both are talking about all these new stocks, ZJYL, GDC, ALTs, et cetera, because we haven't squeezed yet in GTII or Finger?
No, it was because that I wanted to talk about Florida State football, but I don't think everybody wants to listen to me talk about that. Or you want to talk about the football game last night where the guy missed a kick? Or is this an equity line? We're talking about stocks. So we could put you to sleep and talk about GTI for 10 hours, or you can learn how to be a professional. Professional traders talk about different things. ZJYL, I own zero in it, zero. But why can't I speak about it? I don't know. I'm just giving you what I'm hearing. I'm not recommending it. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. And if I had the money, I would take a shot on it because you know what? It's pretty exciting what they're saying, but I don't have the money to play it. So there you go. I can't say about GTII. I mentioned it before. GTI is up off of 20. It was down 28. They attacked it down to 20. It's back to 21 cents again. I don't see who would even want to sell a stock at 20 cents. The most they can make is 20 cents. The only person that would sell it at 20 cents is someone who's short higher. And I posted it 60,000 times. The NSCC, which is the DTC, which is the most important thing about the U.S. equity markets, said that their Alpine, the prime broker, has a concentrated, probably an illegal concentrated short position in GTII. And nowhere ever will you ever see a stock mentioned like that by the government, which is the NSCC and the DTC. They put it in a court document for you to see about GTII. What that is the proof that you need to know that there's a short in the stock. It's right there. But what happens next? Alpine got attacked, going out of business. The Kramer's disappeared. The short is laying somewhere. Where is it? Where are they hiding it? That should be the better question. We need Inspector Clouseau to come figure this out. I don't know where they're hiding it. They're hiding it offshore. How do I know that? Go read the story about the big frog. Right? Or the toad, whoever that is. Is it a toad, William? I forgot.
It's a toad.
All
The
right, so
Anthem funds.
I'll put it up again, and you can read it, the toad. I just happened to save that story. Here you go. Read. I'll put it up again. It's right here. I put it up again. It's got a big toad. Read the Kassam and Anson funds, the big secret market frauds. That's the story that tells you there's 27 trillion a year stolen. And here's, I'll repaste the GTI story again. GTII, here it is. I wrote GTI, here is the proof. Again, we put the truck in front of the SEC. They've done everything. I'm just looking at a stock for a second. Just let me change the subject again. Is that good enough for GTI right now? I can't say anything. It's traded 100.
I think it's fine.
Look at the stock, BLUE, Bluebird Bio. And you say, what are you doing about that? Well, hold on a second. I can read it here. Avid Trader put something about blue. Here it is. I'll put it up here and I'll read it for you in a second. I just put BLUE. Now it's $1.26. It was 343. It says the disease results, they cause and effect neurological function after the initial onset of symptoms, and sadly, nearly half of the patients, I don't know, the disease results in a rapid loss of neurological functions after the initial onset of symptoms, and sadly, nearly half the patients who do not receive treatment die within 5 years of the symptoms onset. And here, short sellers don't give a blank who dies. It's sad. And that was at $3.43. And that was somewhere in 2022, and now it's $1.26. There you go. I mean, I don't own that in stock, but I can talk about it. That's what we talk about. I worked on a trading desk. People on the other side of the desk, 10 people over, we talk about stocks because I didn't follow all the stocks. And my just learn more about. He says, how do you learn about all these stocks? He says, you need to talk to different people and jot down and memorize things because there's so many stocks. You can't be an expert in all of them, but you have to be an expert in 10 to 20 of them. This way you get a base and then you expand off of it. That's how it works. And that's why a big trading desk is important. Pete from Philly probably worked on a trading desk like me. I never traded technology stocks because I didn't cover. I knew nothing about them. I covered different stocks. But when I heard something from them and saying, hey, there's a monster buyer in IBM, or back in the day, we used to hear about digital equipment. You guys don't know about this. It was DEC. That was one of the original high flyers like NVIDIA today. It was $200 stock. It was unheard of back then. And when you heard there was a real smart buyer in DEC and it was 120, you go out and buy the 130s. The next day, the stock would gap open 5 points. And you say, wow, that buyer was smart. You know, it's up 5 points. I made $2 my options. I made 10 grand. See you later. Thank you. Thanks for the heads up. And that's what you would say. And that would be the extent of me trading digital equipment. That was it. And then the next day, someone would say something, hey, Philip Morris, I hear they're going to buy Campbell's Soup. And now I'm in Campbell's Soup. But the next day, someone would say something in U.S. Surgical. Now I'm over there. And that's how trading works. That's trading. Investing is what we're doing now. We're buying a stock, seeing it through, watching the company grow, watch the revenue, and exposing the shorts. That's investing now. Of course, when you invest, you really shouldn't have to sit here and defend your stock against criminals, but that's the U.S. What can I say about it? And if people like myself or William and everybody didn't stand up and fight, you know how long this scam has been going on? Since 1988. 1988. I know it goes back a little further. There's some SEC people that actually spoke about it before that, but I'll say it goes back to 1985. But to have real proof, the proof is right there on the cover of Forbes. And guess what I'm going to post for you? The cover of Forbes. How's that? This is pretty good, William. I get to talk about it. And I could just rehash it again on Twitter for everybody. If you don't belong to Twitter, it takes 2 minutes to sign up. And you can follow people that follow the stocks you want to do, and then you can understand it. So here it is. I'm going to educate you again. The cover of Forbes, 1988, it's right there. Naked short selling, is it decent? With a question mark. That's the cover of Forbes in 1988. The idiot in Forbes that's going after attacking naked short sellers like Matt Levine and everybody else, he's Bloomberg. They attack people. Their own magazine wrote about it. It's the cover story in 1988. It's right there. Since 1988. What is that, Wade? 36 years now?
It's longer than I ever
I
imagined.
told you. And you guys think this, I always told you the fight is a battle. I've been doing it 24 years. And when I found out, the only reason I found this Forbes story, because my friend was moving and he found the magazine. And when he sent it to me, I almost fainted. I couldn't believe it.
You just kept the cover. You threw the article away.
No, I knew the article. The article is about the Fierro brothers. I don't want to go down that road. The Fierro brothers were a bunch of they were thugs, short sellers, naked short sellers, the originators. And when I was on a trading desk, I never traded the over-the-counter. I was big board. And I used to hear the over-the-counter desk yell, "Oh, the Fierro brothers are shorting XYZ." And with the Fierro brothers, from what I gathered, they short a stock at $10, start driving it down, then call the company up and demand them that they sell them stock so they can cover. And if they didn't sell them the stock, they would continue selling it. Now, does that sound like a mafia organization? Does that sound like a criminal organization? That's what they were doing. So all the traders on the street knew when XYZ was under attack by the Fierro brothers, every trader on the street started shorting it with them because they knew the Fierro brothers were going to drive it down to 2. Then the company would sell them 1 million shares. They walk away, make $8 million. Everybody make money. And the company just got fucked right in the face by these guys. And that's what that story's about in that article. But I don't want to go down the path on that. You can go read about the Fierro brothers yourself.
Yeah, this guy's asking, could Jeff Easton be working with Frommer, and this time they make the stock go up to make us look bad? Look, they're all colluding with each other.
Listen,
it's possible.
The stock. There's a priest outside the headquarters of that company giving it.
Last rites.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Look, the problem with that theory, David.
He needs to go to a lab and put some whatever together, and hopefully comes out with a cure for cancer. That's the only way.
The problem with that theory is Jeff Easton's clients want it to go down. So that's the problem with that theory.
They're short. The company was nice enough. He was nice enough to put a good word in for Lynn, like we all believe him. All right. I know 2 people that have debt in the company. The third one is Lynn. The 2 people I know have nothing to do with short selling. That leaves only one person who put money up that's a debt holder, and that's Jeff Easton.
He's a peach of a guy.
The 2 people I know that put the debt in all point the finger towards him.
So
I don't need to talk about that anymore because the guy's murdered everybody already. So let's forget about him. It's a waste of time. I had my daughter sell it at 1 cent a couple months ago. I said, get out.
And she saved half her money. From a penny.
She paid 80 cents for it, sold it there. My poor friend's out $4 million thanks to that.
I put my shares into ZJ. So what are your thoughts on Northwest Bio and SAVA, SAVA?
Did we talk about that the other day, Sava?
We did. It's some Alzheimer's disease, but
did they reverse that stock, Sava? I forget we just talked about this. I don't remember it. I don't know. I can't remember. I haven't really dug into the Sava
doesn't have any children.
I don't remember what
$26. Sava looks good. Actually looks good. I don't know what's going on with that.
That's a blue blood compared to everybody.
Cassava Sciences, but that thing looks like it's going up.
I don't know it. I can't comment on it. I have no idea what they do. Did the stock ever reverse? But if you're talking to me about it, something bad must have happened in the stock. I don't know why. I don't know anything about it. I talked about ALT a while ago. My friend, who's a big biotech guy, told me that the company is working on some obesity drug. Stock went from 550 to 12. Someone asked me, would you still in it? I says, if I owned it, I would have sold it at 10 on the way up. Take $4 or $5 off it. See you later. Come on, William, pick up the
NWBO, but you didn't,
NWBO. I told you I know about 100 years ago. Dr. Aziz was, he's an oncology surgeon. He said he read the paperwork at UCLA many years ago. My friends were investing in it. There was a guy in the UK that got blown out, a big biotech fund. They killed him, the shorts, put him out of business. A major biotech firm. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, everyone. My wife wanted to know what I wanted for dinner.
Who or what?
My wife wanted to know what I wanted for dinner. I told her she's going to give me shit on a shingle.
Sounds good. I guess you're going to a diner.
She calls up and acts like I know what I want for dinner. I said, I don't care. Cook whatever you want. Could kill us. Anyway, anything else? Let's move it along, William. So let me give you my opinion. Finger motion. Let's recap everything and then I'll end it. Finger motion. Company came out, addressed the news about the earning miss, and everything's right there. And it tells you it's the complete opposite. It's the other way. Accounting rules are the most important thing. The company's following the accounting rules. And think about that. If the company was doing anything fraudulent, would they come out and say they lost half their revenue, then come back and address it? Why would you take the hit on that thing, right? Why would you take the hit first? Because they're doing it by the books. No company would put out bad news like that and then come out 3 days later and address it. What it was, 2 days, 3 days later? So the company's doing the right thing. They're following the books, they follow the rules, and there you go. Now we have a company that's going forward. Things are going great. And what's next? I spoke to big shareholders and they've been pounding the company. They better do a special dividend. Will they do it? I don't know. The board of directors, everyone's got to approve this stuff, but they've been blasted out of the water, and they better move quick on it. So that's the next thing. One of the things I expect to happen. What corporate stuff they're doing, I'm hearing only good things. Big things are coming. Obviously, they're in the biggest market in the world. They're in cell phones, people. Everyone on this call is using their cell phone to call in or watch or whatever you're doing. Take away your cell phone. You think the people in China are going to take away their cell phones? They're going to do whatever it takes to keep them because they use it for money transactions. You need a cell phone. The company has access to all the data. They know where William goes. They know what he eats, whether he's eating broccoli or he's drinking Johnny Walker Black all day. They know everything about people. They're selling that information to the insurance companies, the reinsurers. Why? Because they can dictate your life insurance policy, your auto policies. They can tell how fast your car goes because when you go past the towers, your pinging the cell phones can tell you how fast you are. They can tell if you're an Uber driver or you're a guy who just drives to the Dunkin' Donuts to get coffee and go back home. That's the information that these guys have on 1.5 billion Chinese. Turning it into a monster business takes time. They said it many times. They're working with the insurance companies to create models and the pricing on how this is going to work. You just don't say, hey, we have the data. Let's meet behind the building. Give us some cash and we're in business. That's not how it works. These guys are doing business with the biggest players in the world. And I keep telling everyone on this call a friend up at a company and ask them, how come you can't get the deal with a big company? Big companies will be reluctant to sign a deal with anybody. All right. They won't sign a deal because they're afraid if the small company is doing something fraudulent, it drags down the big company. So in order to get a press release, they do a lot of work to make sure you're correct. So I look at Finger Motion, Munich Re. I don't know, it's a $50 billion company. Pacific Life Re, I think it's a $10 or $20 billion reinsurance company. AIZ, $10 billion cell phone insurance company. All right. Just look at the partners they have. China Mobile, I don't know how big it is anymore because it's not public in the US. China Unicon. Look at the parties these guys got deals with. No one's signing press releases so that they could go out and say, oh, we're fraudulent press releases. No one does that. They're not doing business together or press releases for fun. They're building business opportunities. That's what's going on here. AIZ couldn't open a door in China for 10 years. They met Finger Motion. In 2 weeks, they were in business with them, opening doors all over the place. What could be the next thing they insure? Batteries in electric cars, appliances in homes. Wow, where did you hear all that stuff? I don't know. Maybe that's the insurance world. That's how they talk, right? Who has cars in China? Everyone's got cars. Have you ever been to China? Everybody, there's no one walking around anymore. They all have cars. Right? So, I mean, this is big business. Lynn Partners played in the wrong playground today with these guys. They're in the wrong park. They're going to get smoked here because this company's real. GTI is a different story. It's a company that's been trying to build the business and keeps getting the shit kicked out of it by the criminals. They kicked out the shit out of it so much that the NSCC and the DTC busted them on it. The prime broker got shut down by the SEC, FINRA. Where is the short hiding? That leads us back to the big frog. Go read about it. They're hiding all these fails in Europe. It's right there. We can't do anything about it because the government needs to do something about it. We're putting pressure on everybody because we want them to expose it. And if the SEC doesn't want to do it, we're going to the Secret Service and the FBI. MMTLP is going straight to Congress and all the representatives to help them out. Everybody's doing their part. We all know that's going on here. Everybody knows what's going on here. And when you are trading, keep hitting stocks up. Memorize the volume, the high, low on the day, so you have a little. You don't have to understand what every company does. But when you're trading numbers, you got to know the numbers. That's what I do. I just keep hitting numbers, symbols up. I glance at the number, and I may be off. Like DWAC, I knew I seen it way down, and now I see it over. Now it's like $45, $46. Obviously, if I wanted to dig deeper into this thing, something's going on here, right?
Did Yorkville fund DWAC?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be. All I know is the guy in Rum. He knows the short is that same guy that short ZJYL. He should be going there. I told him to hire Mark Bazile on the phone myself. Told him to hire Mark Bazile and go after the short sellers that are posting the stories about him. That's number one. And number two, I told him to hire Tom Ronk and go get the data. Go get the data from Tom Ronk if you want to know how big the short is in your stock. And what did he do? Never contacted any of the people. I gave him the numbers and everything about it. Got to start somewhere. If you're not going to start somewhere, then you're nowhere. So, and to me, he's nowhere. I hope he makes it. Good luck, whatever he's got to do. I know Dan Bongino is good friends with the Secret Service guy that I'm speaking with. As a matter of fact, one guy sent me to see the other guy. So I know they all know each other. So hopefully my guy is reaching out to Dan. And again, I have no vested interest in it. And if law enforcement thinks that I have a motive in that stock, I do not. I just want the stocks to be settled. That's it. That's my motive. Other than that, I know nothing about that company. Anything else, William?
When's the movie coming out?
Mark Fork on Twitter. Go to him. Ask him. I don't know if anybody ever dealt with people in the movie business, but they're different than us.
This guy bought 18 shares of ZJYL, so he's got more than I do by one.
Right. He's going to be in the. He's going to be one of the big institutions in the stock soon.
He's going to be rich, and I'm going to be going. I could have.
Well, listen, I would be the first guy to get. I'll be the first guy to tell you congratulations.
Yeah, I will too. Let's see. Trump was president for 4 years and didn't do anything about short selling. Thanks for pointing that out.
Well, no one actually knew to get into him to tell him about it. Now we have Pat Byrne in there. So for the gentleman who said that, okay, we have Pat Byrne is now an insider in the Trump campaign. So think about that for a second with your comment. All right.
Yeah.
We're here to help Pat Byrne to expose naked short selling. If you got a beef with Trump, go take it someplace else, because I do not have a beef with Trump. I don't give a shit as long as they protect us, protect my family. stop the crime, stop people coming to the country illegally, and stop the wars. That's all I care about. And short selling. Other than that, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I could care less. They can all kill each other in DC, fight over whatever pennies they want. But I don't want to get in a battle with that. That's it. That's all I care about. And I think that anybody who wouldn't go along what I just reported on, I mean, that's pretty, I'm not looking for anything for myself. You know, if I was thinking of myself, I would say I need a toupee, right, William?
Yeah.
They should give toupee to people that are losing their hair. That's bullshit. Forget the transgenders. We need toupees. What happened to us bald guys? We need toupees. Right? That should be I should be outside protesting about that.
No one will ever be able to tell.
Well, that's what it is. So anyway, what else? Anything else, William?
Do you know Ari Robinson, Ari Rubenstein?
No.
Hanson's in on the DWAC one as well. Frommer is Adam Aaron.
I think I addressed as much as I could possibly do on a day where nothing's going on. Finger Motions traded 155,000 shares back and forth. It was 100,000 shares 8 hours ago. And if you look at it, when you sell 300 back and forth all day, every minute you can do almost 900 shares, 1,000 shares in a minute, 2 minutes. So the numbers just keep going up like that. That's how the volume increases.
All right.
Nothing else?
I don't see anything else. Let me look one more.
One more time, go circle the field. See
Do you
what's
know
happening.
something about Ryan Cohen? I don't know anything about Ryan.
Yes, I asked anybody has any connections to Ryan Cohen. Ryan Cohen was he is a short buster, him and his friends. Oh, and that's what I wanted to discuss with you for a few minutes. I actually went on Netflix last night and I put on that stupid movie, Dumb Money. Don't waste 2 minutes of your life watching that trash. Okay, it's completely worthless. Go watch The Big Short. That will help you more understanding crime than what that was. The Dumb Money thing was about people like us buying stocks and it went to the moon. They had no idea. They kept talking about the Reddit people making the stock go higher. It's impossible. Retail investors could not buy a stock at $100 in that type of size. People on this phone are buying ZJYL. What are we buying? 15 shares, 18 shares, right? That's what we're doing, correct?
Yeah.
That's retail. It's got nothing to do that most retail people are not going out to buy 20,000 shares of $100 stock. Retail investors are not going out there buying, 50,000 shares of $200 stock. It was all done by hedge funds. Ryan Cohen, the guy from The Big Short, Michael Burry, and all the people like that were the ones that drove GameStop. They took it to the moon. And they were trying to piss off, give it on that kid, Roaring Kitty, whatever his name is, right? They were saying he was the axe behind it. He was out there, he was the front. They just blamed him. And for Congress to bring that idiot in and try to ask him questions, that tells you how stupid they were, the whole thing. They're asking him. What'd he do? He bought 50,000 shares at $3, whatever he paid for it, $4. That's the guy they blamed for the squeeze and GameStop. He's the one that took it to the moon because people were going out there buying 500 shares. The big boys were here and they blamed him. And all the big boys walked away with the profit and no one ever questioned them. How could the SEC or the government never look at the people buying millions of shares of that stock? Right? Pretty easy. Instead, they got Roaring Kitty, the guy standing there with a kitty shirt on, making noises all morning, whatever he was doing on his film. That's what the movie was about.
I watched Molly's Game. That was a
That was
better
very
movie.
good.
That was a better
That was a good
movie
movie.
than what you're talking
Yep.
about. I just found out Player X, you know who Player X was? He was the guy that played Tobey Maguire, played Spider-Man. That was-
Tobey Maguire.
yeah, the Player X, the mean one.
No, listen, that was a good movie. But again, don't waste your time on Dumb Money. It's moronic. I can't believe that anybody wasted their time making that movie. I lost interest in it in 19 minutes. I turned it off. Get out of here. It was terrible. Ace said he watched it. He said he liked it. Make sure I abuse him, William.
Ace Follows Michigan or something.
No, he said he watched it, and I think he said to watch it. And I'm like, I watched it. I turned it off. Terrible.
He probably liked one of the girls in the movie.
But they were talking to retail people that they put in the movie, saying I was going to buy it. I'm a nurse. I'm following this guy, Roaring Kitty. I'm going to buy the stock. I'm going to buy 500 shares. That's what they were talking about. That was the movie. And then they flip it. They got a guy playing Stevie Cohen and another guy playing Merlin Capital guy. I forgot his name. And they showed you them running around like idiots, like they completely false. There's no way that they were doing that. They were figuring out ways how to end it, change it, and make money on the downside. That's what they did. So they probably brought government officials in here, this, that, and the other thing, because they were getting run over by big players, and they couldn't stop it. And that is what's supposed to happen in finger motion, GTII, MMTLP. That's why they stop it. There's so much fighting to hold it down, all this stuff. You don't think the SEC has seen our truck in front of the building? You don't think anyone has seen this before? We put it up here. I just posted the picture with Raywald as the head of enforcement. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think he's seen his name right outside the door of the building? William, you were there.
I was there.
William, I'm seeing my friend tomorrow, and I'm panhandling for money for us to go overseas. So as soon as I get it, I'll let you know, and we'll take off. Again, people, don't forget the equity markets are out of control with trillions of fraud. At the head of the NASDAQ put that up, that the market's completely run by drug dealers, counterfeiters, everything. That was the head of the NASDAQ, that story.
Adriana Friedman. Adina Friedman.
He said, "Oh, the whole market's full of. We don't know what's going on. How could any regulators not know what's going on?
She collects $28 million a year.
How do you not arrest one person?"
Oh, she's all about.
Every brokerage firm has a suspicious money alert that comes in.
She's about making sure NASDAQ, every department has the right spread of various different types of people in it. Can't worry about money. Got to worry about, I don't know what, equality. Equality of poor performance.
Well, again, remember that we've heard that one of the toxic lenders was saying 2 years ago that the Kramers were working for the FBI, giving up other toxic lenders. Isn't it funny? All the toxic lenders keep making the tape now. They get caught. How did they not catch the Kramers? Think about that for a second. The Kramers. How did they not get busted? Correct?
Yeah. The one, ZJYL could reach 10K before the split. After the split, you have to divide, I think that's $500. Let me just make sure. 10,000 divided by 20. Yeah, 500 smackers. So after the record date, if you're looking for $10,000, you got to change it to $500. If that makes sense.
I just posted. Listen, don't count your money before it happens, everybody. Just let it happen. I reposted this again. Read. Pat Burns standing there in front of an audience, and there's a screen there, and he's talking. He talks about how 75% of Goldman's money comes from stock loan. 75%. What more can you say? You know,
Dumb Money was a dumb movie.
it was. Well, I can't believe someone wasted their money and did that. Remarkable. I could retweet SE Chair Chris Cox talking about the new anti-fraud rule for naked shorting. Fraudulent naked short selling, he called it. You want me to read that again? You want to see that again?
No,
Would that make you better?
no.
I could put the story about the Kramers being loan sharks and Gretchen Morgensen, you know, they're threatening people. I could put a picture of my friend, federal enforcement agent, Wall Street Court printing shares. That was from 2006. Want to put that up?
No.
We could put the financial terrorism from Mark Falk from 2004. He's the guy doing the movie.
That's probably
What
better.
else do you want me to?
So rum's up today.
I know that's the shorts. That's shorting it, right?
Rum.
I'm looking for. Oh no, that's the important is. I gotta find the. I just gotta find one thing before we sign off, William. Give me 1 second. Take it easy, William. Relax.
I'm about as relaxed as I can be.
That's nice to hear. All right, so I'll put something up about the. I reposted Charlie Mayo with a cigar in his mouth. It actually looks like a big piece of shit in his mouth, but it's a cigar. And one of the Kram is like.
You're looking at the negative.
Charlie Mayo. Let's see. I'm looking for the recording of Charlie Mayo calling up GTII. Oh, here it is. Charlie's call, media. Here you go.
Can you play it right now?
Let's see if I can play it. Let me see if I can do it. Hold on a second. Let me download it.
We should all call him.
Well, we had shareholders called him up, and he answered the phone, and they couldn't believe it. So there's a short seller, a naked short seller working for the Kramers, calling up the CEO of GTII, offering, want to put some numbers together, they want to do a deal. There it is, right there. That's it. That's what the calls come through. And people say, oh, you guys get these calls. The calls come like this all the time. Everybody doesn't report it every time, but when you get Charlie Mayo leaving his name and his number, you know, there you go. I just reposted it. Listen it to yourself. Click on it. It's right there. The shorts have called up David Reichman's ex-wife, who's got what's she have? Alzheimer's. I forget. No, dementia. She has dementia, right? They called her. He called her up, and they tried to get her to sell a stock. There's people, and they do it all the time. People don't believe it. Oh, they never call. Oh, really? They do call. Here it is. They're not calling me. I don't have a big position. They called my friends with big positions, and I'm sure on the oath they would tell everybody exactly who called. I'm sure you can grab the CEO of GTII. I'm sure he has phone records of all the people that called up, you know. You know, people keep saying, oh, we don't have any proof. It's all over the place. Just no one's enforcing it. Oh, this is a quick story. My daughter tried to go buy Motion before. She wanted to go buy 2,000 shares at 260. And she had put money into her account. And Fidelity was giving her a tough time because they called GTII a penny stock. So I happened to be standing next to her, and I said, It's not a penny, it's $2.60. He goes, oh, when it goes below a certain price, we call it a penny stock. So I was listening to labeling of management teaching people about different stocks. I mean, it's just amazing. I says, well, he said $3. It was below $3. I said, well, it was above 3, so it wouldn't be called a penny stock anymore if it was above 3. So this is how Wall Street operates. This company's far from being a penny stock. It has real business, it does stuff, but they labeled it as a penny stock. Of course, I stuck in, and my daughter was ashamed of me yelling at the guy. He jumped right in. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And he says, oh, the concern is that, they want to be sure people know what they're doing buying a penny stock. I says, well, if we buy IBM and we lose, you're going to give us our money back? You're going to guarantee we're going to win? He goes, no. I says, what's the difference? It's just, why are you buying this stock? They always ask stupid questions like that. But she wasn't allowed to buy it. She's going to buy it tomorrow. So that's the best I could do. That's my older daughter who has a baby, my grandson. And I told her to buy it at $2.60 today. 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, I told her to do it. She couldn't do it till tomorrow. Does that sound like I'm pointing someone in the right direction?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my opinion, and I told it to my daughter. So I don't give a shit about Jeffrey Easton. I'm going to break his ass and have him arrested until the day I die. Because now you got my daughter and my grandson invested in here. Fuck you. You're not taking from my grandson. And if he has a problem with that, let's come tell me to my face. Anything else? So I did the Fidelity thing. I did that. Well, you ZJ, one more tick and you're going to be up $4. The old hockey game. Someone buys one share at 107, you'll be up on the day, right? It was 101, it was down 3, so we closed at 104. What, 107, you'll be up 1, you'll be up 3. And just think about it, people. If you're short, why would they mark it down? Well, obviously they get margin calls when the stock ticks up, right? That you always see on the close, they'll sell one share to mark it down to get the close a little lower. You understand that, William?
Yeah.
Just making sure you're with me, William. Pay attention.
Just don't make me repeat it.
Don't look at the light, William. Don't look at the light. Stay with us, William. Come back to earth. Oh my goodness, this is a boring day. But it's okay. We all understand it. Finger motion. People, get up your ass. Go read the press release. Make your own decisions. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear what you think about the company and their press release. All right? I would love to hear it. That's not my opinion. Do your own opinion on it. Tell me what you think. All right? ZJYL is doing a forward split. William voted on air today. He voted his shares for the company to do the split. Correct, William?
I looked it up. It said 6 shares out of my 17. So
you did them all at the same place, right?
Yeah, I bought them all the same place.
And this is what they do. So imagine if you got 200,000 shares and you get a vote for 20 shares or 20,000 shares. People don't read it. William had to go search it to go find it, that it was on there. This is how they hide the fact. If there's 1 million shares, the company can't send out proxy cards for 2 million. They can only send out proxy cards for 1 million. How are they going to do it if everybody's got different numbers? So, are the proxy cards, who's altering the proxy cards? Do they have numbers on it? We don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen the proxy card. Years ago, I took a shareholder vote, all right, to exit the DTC. We got the vote back. I knocked on doors to find people with proxy cards because not everybody was getting them. We won the shareholder vote, which was hard to do because people weren't getting the proxy cards. And as soon as we won the vote, the depository trust came out the next day after we put out a press release saying that we're going to exit the depository trust. The next day, that if you leave the depository trust, you're no longer considered a public company. They changed the rule within 20 hours. They changed the rule. So the small little company busted them. They changed the rule. What did I have to do? We had to go back and vote again to get back into the DTC. We sent out the proxy cards again, and the people that voted the first time, who never changed their positions, didn't get a proxy card the next time because I went back to them to vote to make sure they voted, and they never got it. So getting back in was even harder finding people because no one got proxy cards. And that was a week between the two. How's that one, William?
Fascinating.
You keep asking, and I'll come up with new things all the time. So if you think I didn't try everything, I tried everything. And I watched the DTC that Larry Thompson, who was the head of the DTC, lied, put out fake press releases. That's why I post those old press releases from 2006. Complete liar. We busted them every which way possible. And it just shows you how hard it is. And I was using the best lawyers in the world to go after them. But they kept changing the rules on us. But now it's different. It's completely different now. The retail army and retweeting it is exposing everybody knows what's going on. You have to be in a coma not to see the stuff that's on Twitter. I go on Twitter, it's remarkable. All the stuff that goes up there, things that are stories I'm missing. Whether it's banking or this, that's how you win. Education, everyone educating each other. All it takes is one tweet by you to set everything ablaze. So keep digging, find it. Take 10 minutes, search it, see what countries are saying. There may be a quote in there that we can use, something. That's how you win. They can't do this forever. The walls are caving in on them. MMTLP is going to destroy them. I don't know what day, I don't know how much, but they're dead. And we got over a year into it already. Over a year, correct, William?
Well over a year on.
So people like saying, oh, this battle just started. It's over a year. The politicians are all coming on board. They did a great job by getting 70. 70 will be 100. 100 will be 150. You don't think the SEC knows people are signing up all over the place on this stuff? You don't think they're following it? You don't think FINRA's paying attention to what's going on? I'm sure they're getting calls from DC saying, what are you guys doing? Everybody says you're committing fraud. What do you think they're going to say? Well. I mean, how do you address it if you're FINRA? The conversations that we see are very different than when you see with FINRA, I'm sure. I'm sure people are calling them up and FINRA is saying, hey, they got us dead. What do we do? I'm sure that's the conversation that's going on that we don't hear about. We only hear about what FINRA is saying, we can't comment and things like that. Anything else, William?
Unless you want to go over the quarterfinal predictions for the Australian Open.
But anything else, really? Seriously, nothing else?
Well, we got 3 minutes left. We can look at the scores.
What's Finger doing? I don't know.
Finger is I had to type it in. 262, 261 to 262, 2200.
My poor daughter's gonna have to pay up tomorrow.
And GTII was up a tiny bit, but now it seems it's 21 cents, up
Right.
0.005.
What's the ZJYL that he traded at 107?
ZJYL is 101.64.5. The
Right.
bid is 104. The ask is 107.
Right.
Low volume.
It's a low volume stock. The short's trying to hold it in place. Don't you see what they're doing?
Yeah, I see. GDC's 842,000 shares traded. 207 last trade.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, everyone. I'm I have nothing else to say. I don't know what to say. Just, I told you, finger motion. I'm carrying these guys out. I will not stop until they're in jail and exposed. I just don't have the time to go through. If anyone wants to go play a game and go look at RWLK and go unwind all their transactions and figure out what they're doing there, because there's no way this guy owns 13 million shares of his stock and he's buying it as a gentleman because he believes he wants to help the handicapped. It's completely, that stock has been naked shorted back down here. I just don't know what price they invested in it to begin to slaughter. Because if Jeffrey Easton's buying the stock 13 million shares at $1, he's doing awful. Where's his 220% returns coming from? He got wiped out in CRTD in Vocal. He's getting wiped out in SYTA. He gave them money. His stock went to worthless, and yet he's doing wonderful. How do you figure all that out? You know.
What's your choice? Is that a trading app, or is it someone that you gave to your friend? He says your choice says your choice says I cannot buy ZYJL because it's a penny stock.
It's $100 stock.
Yeah.
Tell Steve Rosenberg take a walk. That guy had the best. He was voted the best online trading platform. Choice Trade, it's called. Tell him to get it right. That's what happens when you go to West Point. You become an idiot. I told you, if I was Rosenberg's commander, I would have lost that guy. I would have done everything to get rid of him every day.
Oh, Lordy.
Anyway, listen, everyone, have a great night, and we'll touch base tomorrow. All right?
All right. Thank you very much.
You got
Enjoy
it.
your awful dinner.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Call ended.
All right. I don't have a lot of energy left. Closed at 107. That's good, Zachariah, that you bought one. I wish I had bought some more, but yeah, they're manipulating it, but we'll find out. When it goes, you should be able to sell, your one share will become 20 shares. So you might be able to sell half of it and keep half. Sound doesn't work. I don't know about that. I think my sound's working. I don't know. Maybe it's not me, it's you, or maybe it's you, not me. I don't know. I don't know how to, regardless, I don't know how to fix it. Whatever it is, I'm against it. Whatever it is. Let's see what these quarterfinal predictions are.
Hey, fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. I've been doing these predictions for every round, so I'm going to keep up until the end. Hope you're not tired of them. I find the Grand Slams to be extra important and the kind of marketing vehicle for tennis, and I want to make sure I'm following it as closely as I possibly can, although I'm not there. Hopefully next year I can be at the Australian Open and doing these recaps and more reports and so on.
All right, it's taking too long.
But let's get into it. We have the quarterfinals now lined up on both the men's and the women's side. We start with the men's. First of all, we look at Djokovic versus Taylor Fritz, a match with a scary head-to-head. I think pretty much every player on the earth has a pretty scary head-to-head against Novak. There are a few exceptions. Taylor Fritz, he has 8-0, only won 2 sets in the Australian Open 2021 when Novak had that injury problem and still managed to win the match. So I think it's gonna look pretty grim for Taylor Fritz. He has to go all in. He has to go all out, try to get to the net, try to shorten points, try to attack second serves. He has to just throw things in there. The issue in this match is...
All right, so that's Djokovic. I'll tell you who I pick. I'll do it quickly. That guy was taking forever. Too much. Just have to pull it up. AO. God, I don't know why, but maybe I am having a stroke. All right, so quarterfinals tonight. Djokovic versus Fritz. Number 1 versus number 12. Djokovic. I say 3 sets. Then the next one is Sinner, Yannick Sinner versus Andrei Rublev. Number 4 against number 5. I say Sinner. I think it'll be 3 sets. And then the next one, which I guess is tomorrow morning, Hurkacz versus Medvedev, number 9 against number 3. Hurkacz could win. Hurkacz could win. It'll definitely be at least 4 sets. I'm going to predict an upset. Hurkacz wins in 5 sets. Zverev, Alcaraz. Zverev number 6, Alcaraz number 2. Alcaraz, 3 sets. So then Alcaraz plays Hurkacz. Alcaraz wins. Djokovic plays Sinner. Ooh. Ooh. I'll go with Djoko. 5 sets. He beats Sinner in 5 sets. And then it's Djoko against Alcaraz. And oh man, Djoko will be tired. Alcaraz won't be. I'll still pick Djokovic. 5 sets against Alcaraz. There. That's my predictions. That didn't take so long. When you univest strike out the short from finger. When you univest strike out short from finger. I don't know. I don't know that Univest is going to do anything about the short in finger, but you've had the earnings announcement. You've had a clarification on the announcement. You know, Pharaoh, that on September 11th, the company filed a registration statement for 300 million shares simultaneously, filing a sub-registration for $25 million, $300 million, and $25 million. And it said Univest. It's only been about 3 months since then. If I'm wrong, October, November, December, January, 4 months. So I think you could see a deal done with Univest leading it. It could be an acquisition. It could be simply raising money to fund one of their arms. It could be a merger, which I don't know if that's any different than acquisition. It could be a divestiture, but I think something like that could be announced. Pharaoh, I don't think Univest will be trying to squeeze the stock. I just think that kind of news could make it go. In today's press release, which I read to you, you can read it yourself. You don't need me to read it. Let me just read through, Pharaoh. This came out today, a letter from the chairman to our shareholders. In our continuing efforts to provide transparency regarding our financial status, I am providing more clarity as to the results of our most recent quarterly report. As you many may know, majority of our revenue is currently derived from the telecommunications products and services division. This consists primarily of our top-up and recharge services, minutes. However, over the last year, we have evolved this category in order to include more profitable endeavors. Thus, we want to outline the 3 other service offerings within this category besides top up. That's just buying minutes. They have top up and recharge. Top up and recharge services offered to consumers nationwide. Subscription plans, mobile phone sales, and cloud services. Cloud services. This is a new endeavor for us, providing data storage, processing servers, and databases over the internet to offer more efficient access and greater flexibility to our corporate clients while offering economies of scale. Essentially, companies pay only for the cloud services they use. Effects of revenue recognition. Given its sporadic nature, quarterly revenue recognition on a go-forward basis will be variable, making it difficult to issue revenue and earnings guidance. And he talks about the profit margins. So then he says, in summary, while we faced certain challenges and fluctuations in Q3, which was last quarter, we believe our diverse portfolio and adaptive strategies position us well for future growth. We feel investors should focus on the long-term prospects of the company, like our InsurTech and big data initiatives, rather than a revenue recognition anomaly. There is likely to be a spillover effect with regards to revenue and gross margins. In other words, the revenue they couldn't record last quarter, they can do this quarter, and they're already in this quarter, so they can take it. You're going to have a kick-ass quarter. This positions the company for a record year. We remain committed to maximizing opportunities like the launch of our new lifestyle app across all segments and look forward to continuing our positive trajectory. Sincerely, Martin Shen. Can you explain that, Volkstoy King? That shows complete ignorance to what a forward split is as opposed to a reverse split. How would a forward split in ZJYL be similar to COSM doing a reverse split and then selling stock to the criminals, halting any kind of squeeze? I just think that you didn't mean to make that point. It doesn't, you must be tired. It doesn't show that you're either paying attention, or it just doesn't show that you understand, or I don't know, you're just tired. I'm going to go with tired. No, Zachariah, the forward split will be voted on. I presume it's been approved because the whales who are pushing for it own 1.3 million shares. So I'm going to assume that it's been approved. But the time frame for the vote is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January 29th, New York City time at 8:30 p.m. And then the real vote is January 30 at 8:30 a.m. in Beijing. I think I got that right. If I'm wrong, you just flip the dates. But that's when the vote will be finalized and approved. But I'm sure, Zachariah, they have enough votes to approve the forward split. You read it this morning. Okay. Well, there's a lot of good information in there, Farrell. If you want, I can get you the number for Univest. It's on their website. The person I think that's closest to Finger is not the chairman, it's the second guy. I'm trying to remember his name. But you can call in and ask him if he intends to squeeze Finger. As far as I know, there's no indication that Univest intends to squeeze Finger. Teddy Zane, I don't know. 4 to 5 months since Univest is involved. And a few months it'll go. Well, GDC is, I tried to read this out to everybody. But on November 3rd, Univest Securities did a deal, actually raised money for GDC. So I don't, if it matters to have Univest involved, maybe GDC is something to look at before Finger goes. Here's something else that Jesse Livermore said. The game of speculation is the most uniformly fascinating game in the world, but it is not a game for the stupid, the mentally lazy, the person of inferior emotional balance, or the get-rich-quick adventurer. They will die poor, said Jesse Livermore. Wall Street never changes. The pockets change, the suckers change, the stocks change, but Wall Street never changes because human nature never changes. Trends come like a series of ocean waves, bringing the high tide when things are good, and as conditions recede, the low tide appears. These trends come unexpectedly, unpredictably, and they must be weathered with temperance, poise, and patience, good or bad. It isn't a hunch, but the subconscious mind, which is the creative mind at work. That is the mind which makes artists do things without their knowing how they came to do them. Perhaps with me, it was the cumulative effect of a lot of little individually insignificant things, but collectively powerful, explained Livermore. Instead of hoping, he must fear, and instead of fearing, he must hope. He must fear that his loss may develop into a much bigger loss, and hope that his profit may become a big profit, said Jesse. It is a paradox which exposes a fatal flaw in the human psyche when it comes to speculating. A loss never bothers me after I take it. I forget it overnight. But being wrong, not taking the loss, that is what does damage to the pocketbook and to the soul. Years later, Livermore died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, broke alone, his soul damaged beyond repair. It was his final lesson, teaching us to show utmost respect to the most uniformly fascinating game in the world. Lucky, what's wrong? What's wrong? No, what'd you do? You sniffed too much pepper. You sniffed too much pepper. All right, I'm gonna. No, I don't, but I don't know anything about it. Tons of insider percentage. I don't know which one you're talking about. HTZ. God, I guess I can look it up. Lucky, I hope you're all right, lucky boy. I hope you're all right, lucky boy. I have no idea what $8.50 means in HTZ. I don't know if they did reverse splits or if I just don't have I can't figure out what it was before. But that's a lot of stock held by institutions. 100%, 100.32% held by institutions, 101% of the float held by institutions. So I guess you could argue that could have a chance at a squeeze. I just don't know anything about it. The chart looks, chart looks sort of the kind of, it could go up. Highly speculative. The stock is down from 17, almost straight down. It's almost like every time Adina Friedman's markets are used. Oh no, this is OTC market, but same difference. They just crush these stocks straight down. And then it's, it's a bear to get back up. But yeah, it could be Carajito. Could be that it's, you obviously know more than I do about it, but it might be worth establishing a small position. I wouldn't go all in on it, but that's up to you. Yeah, brokers do shady crap. That's true. And the other thing is, this is an experiment to see what it does. But Volkstoy, it's pretty simple. Going back to Yahoo Finance, stock, I guess, closed at 107. But if you look at the holders of Gin Medical International, 82% of the shares are held by insiders. There's not much held by institutions. So that particular metric doesn't work. But then if you go to the statistics, there's 7.8 million shares outstanding, and the float is 1.3 million shares. The float is 1.3 million shares. Percentage of that held by insiders is 83%. Well, we are being told, I can't prove it to you, but I trust the two people telling me, we're being told that a handful of people, I don't know if it's 5 people, 10 people. They own 1.3 million shares. So they own the entire float. They own the entire float. And they are asking for 500,000 shares of that entire float to be removed from street name, to be taken out of the system and put in their name at the transfer agent. In other words, the float is going to be reduced from 1.3 million down to ostensibly to 800,000. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Well, there's a narrative that investing in China is terrible, but I would submit to you that, I mean, maybe in the short run that'll be true. China has enormous debt problems, but you know what China did with trillions of dollars investment? Since our nation's got to eat, mission accomplished. Since George W. Bush, the Popinjay, the boy who would be king and remain a boy, we, the United States of America, under the white paper, The New American Century, set in motion a plan to spread democracy and regime change across 7 countries. There's only one we've left so far out, Iran. Looks like we're going to do it now. The agents of that change were everyone from Donald Rumsfeld to a couple others, I can't remember their names, Robert Kagan and his wife Victoria Nuland, and Condoleezza Rice, George W. Bush. Colin Powell got sucked up into it. The whole idea was America was going to remake the world in our image. Well, we squandered trillions of dollars bombing deserts over again. In fact, one president who received the Nobel Peace Prize because he was black or half black, bombed so much that we ran out of bombs repeatedly. He was the only president in the history of the United States to be at war every single day of 2 terms. Folks, I voted for him twice. We assaulted mountains in Afghanistan, and we bombed deserts in Iraq, Syria, Libya. We're doing it now in Yemen, but Yemen was on the list, if I recall correctly. Lebanon, I think, may or may not have been on the list. Anyway, I don't remember all the names right now. And now we're enmeshed in a war we cannot win in the Ukraine, costing trillions of dollars probably by the time it's done. And that money will go to rebuild Ukraine. It'll go through BlackRock, Larry Fink, or whoever his name is. Larry Fink's the other one, I guess. I can't remember all the names. But these men don't care about you. They just care about lucre. So then we apparently won in Afghanistan because this president left the airports that we had built, which were meant to be our land-based aircraft carriers. We left them to the Chinese, and we left behind $100 billion worth of equipment, brand new. And we left behind the largest copper deposit in the world. We left that for the Chinese. We left the oil in Iraq for the Russians and I think the Chinese, or it's the Russians and the Japanese. Can't remember. I read it to you. But we left that behind. We're now getting drawn into a war by our good friends in Israel, which is turning the entire Middle East against us, and in fact, in the entire world. And there's no way to win. No way to win. But we're going to continue squandering trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars for nothing. China, on the other hand, has put trillions of dollars into the Ring Road, whatever that thing is called, initiative, the Marco Polo Ring Road Trade Initiative. They've put trillions of dollars into Africa, South America, even the United States in land. They've beefed up their military. And China's built out their infrastructure, their 5G, their high-speed trains, their power network. Yes, they've overbuilt cities, but they have places for people to live. They have robots doing their manufacturing, and they have our patents. They have our patents. I wouldn't, this idiot, whoever's scared to invest in China, go ahead and be scared. But the future is Chinese. The future is woman, I always read. Well, the future is Chinese. The past, of course, didn't have anything to do with women. I don't know. We get so caught up in these slogans, we stop thinking clearly. But anyway, China is a booming economy. Southeast Asia is booming. India is booming. Russia is the largest supplier of oil to China. Saudi Arabia is second. It doesn't take much imagination that the United States becomes Australia. And that part of the world, Southeast Asia and Asia, you know, Russia has the Slavophile problem. Maybe it won't be a problem anymore. Maybe they'll just be Asian. So I think it's short-sighted not to invest in China. J.G. Wentworth. I'll look for him if I remember. We don't need Univest to make it run, but I'm not saying Univest won't do it, but I don't know what it means. How does Univest make something run? I don't know. I have my theories. Maybe it's all about buy algorithms. Who knows? But short squeezes don't need Univest. They just need someone buying. Really what you need is that the company shows out of the blue that it has cash, it has revenue, and it never has to go to Jeff Easton again. It never has to go to the pimp again. And that's all Jeff Easton is a pimp. I don't know that Ham says anything about ARCA saying finger will drop to $1. I didn't hear ARCA say that. So I personally can't confirm that ARCA said that. But I know Ham has said to you many times, Jay, that charting short squeezes makes no sense. But let me ask you something, Jay. Are you going to stand there and you're going to be all, oh God, it's at 1, and oh God, it's at 1. I'm not going to do anything. Or if it gets down to 1, are you maybe going to add to it? Because if you believe the stock is going to 1, sell it at 260. And when it goes down to 1, triple your ownership of the stock. Put a little more money in, and you have 3 times the shares. If you really believe it. I would be reluctant to do that, though, because I think there's a lot of news potential over the next weeks and months in Finger. And just as soon as it comes down, it can go back up. So ARCA may be right. But let's try to get what happened the last time it went down to 1. And I don't know that you're relaying everything ARCA said. I don't know that you're relaying that. I find it hard that that's all ARCA said. I really find it hard to believe. ARCA said Finger will drop to $1. That's all he said. Let me show you something. It's got a print. If my printer works. I don't hear it printing. Oh, maybe it's run out of paper. Let me go check my printer. Darn it. Let me go check my printer. All right, lucky boy. Just give me a second. Finger's going to 1, so I've got to answer this question. My printer doesn't seem to be working. But here's an old chart, Jay. Here's one chart. See what happened when Finger was at $1? And it goes straight up. But just be anxious about it. Just don't do a thing. Just worry about it. Oh my God, it's hitting 1. ARCA says it's hitting 1. And just moan about it, bitch about it, and don't do anything. I wish I could show you this chart. Of course I can't. Maybe I can do it this way. I don't know what's wrong with my printer. ARCA says it's going to 1. Oh my gosh. $1. It's a terrible investment. I mean, I'm looking at this chart. I wish I could print it out. I think this is as low as this stock's going. But it could go lower. It could go to 1. Sure. Why not? Why the heck not? Any stock can do anything in the short run. But to me, if it goes to $1, that would be when you buy. Would it go up right away? No, sometimes it takes time to turn around. On the other hand, sometimes when things go that low, they turn very quickly. This, of course, will take forever because my computer's so slow. But I don't know what's wrong with my printer. I just have to think through what it could be. There's paper. Just have to unplug it and plug it back in, I guess. All right. Well, anyway, I'll try to show you this, Jay. But my computer is in. What is it, Lucky? Are you okay? Are you okay? What did you sniff at? What did you sniff? My computer's very slow, Jay. Just waiting for it.
Just a small point. 30. They've played 6 times with anxiety.
Fritz looks pretty good. All right, here. Maybe it's here. Let me see if I can show you this. That's not it. That's it. So Jay, I don't know if you can see my little pointer, but here's the stock over at 260. And what he's seeing is this. He's saying that's where it can go down to as 1. I think you can draw a line here through here, and either this depends on where you drew it here, or if you come all the way down here, this is support, is where the stock is right now. Or if I'm wrong, can't print this out, it might have broken down from support. And if it's broken down, then maybe the next place he sees is here, and then here at 1. Now, what you leave out, you don't say it's going to drop to $1 and stay there for years. Oh my God, it's going to drop to $1 because it's worthless. Or does he say it's going to spike to $1? It's going to have a downward spike. Might hit it for a day. Look over here, Jay. The stock was 396. They got it to break down. It gaps down. In the space of about a month, it goes down straight down. Very normal, of course. And it hits $1. How long was it at that $1, Jay? It hit $1. How long was it there? I'd say it was a day. and then it rallied back up to about $1.70, pulled back, churned, made it back to $1.70, always making higher lows, made it back to 2, pulled back, made it to 260, and then it got attacked again. They had a double bottom, and then look what happens. In the span of 1 month, it goes to $7. Look over here. When the stock got down to 20 some cents, that went up like a rocket ship to $10. So as far as I'm concerned, bring it on. Let it go to $1. I'll buy it there. I'll buy it there. I'll buy more. Hey, Billy Ray. I don't know. Yeah, thanks for the 20. Computers are more than $20, but I do appreciate it. I'm hopeful I'll be able to do it. I haven't been able to do it yet, Augustine. I could probably buy a cheapo, whatever they are called, IBM type computer. I don't want one like that. I could buy an Apple, and that's where I'm headed. But I went down several times to look at the Apple desktop. That's too small. It's just wasted money. The new Apple desktop is just wasted money in my judgment. So what that leaves is buying the studio screen and either buying one of the powerful little Apple things you put on your desk or buying one of the M3 laptops. It's a lot more money than $20, but I'll get there. How to vote in Finger. I didn't look at that vote card. I guess I got to check my emails. But Ham the other day said, just vote yes for everything. I don't know what's on the proxy, but I think management has been good to shareholders. So I would just go with whatever management recommends. That's my opinion. All right, so we probably run out of momentum. My poor boy. Guess he wants to walk out. We'll go soon, Lucky. We'll go soon. I don't really know what else to talk about. Yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about. Yeah, I'm an Apple guy in the sense that everything I have here is Apple, but I don't know what I'm doing with computers. But the M3 MacBook is heavy. The one I want is heavy, and it's expensive. But that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to buy the studio screen and the MacBook M3. But then you look at the different variables, I get overwhelmed with it because I have a feeling a lot of it I don't need, but that I've never found a computer that you don't grow out of with time. So I'd rather overbuy storage and all that. Anyway, Augustine's right. That's what I'm looking at is a MacBook Pro. And that's what I'm thinking, exactly that. But when I did the arithmetic, I need about $10,000. And that's a lot of money. It's actually closer to 12. That's a lot of money. But it's a lot more than $20. But I have the money that you sent, Augustine. I'm going to be very grateful for that. And but the amount that people gave wasn't enough to get it done. But I still have it. So I'm actually hopeful that I'll be able to do it this month or early next month. But I just haven't been able to yet. And it is a frustration. You're the best, Tom. You're the best. That's great. That's great. We'll get there. I would just like one of these to work, even if I'm not in it. Maybe some of you aren't in it. I would just like some pocket of you guys to feel good that you're making money. The lessons we have to learn is as it runs, as it's out of control, take some money off the table. Because once they get it back under control, you see what they do. And they have all the advantages. The media, the skeptics, goes on. All right, I'm gonna end it certainly in 10 minutes, but maybe sooner. I just wonder what else there is to talk about. Well, that's true. A used Mac might be it. But what I've found, Charlie, Mac for me is I'd rather get the warranty and the big, the power up front, because I don't know what I'm doing. But we'll see. Oh, sorry, we'll see. My attitude has always been with computers is to go in and buy the best and the most that I can get. And then I don't have to do any thinking for a long time. I know that's just because I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see how, just quickly, if any stocks popped up. GDC maybe is one to look at. Rum closed up, like you guys said. CJYL up a little bit. I want to see GDC. That had a nice run this morning, and it just makes me wonder if something's about to happen. The 52-week high in GDC is $44. So it's possible. That's all right. It's always on my mind about getting it done. Lucky's bored. I took him on such a long walk. Hey, GDC's up 7 cents in the aftermarket. I don't know what else to talk about for 7 minutes. So maybe it's a waste of time. Let's see if there's any breaking news. Any breaking news? Oh, Amy Coney Barrett is a liberal. Roberts is a liberal. So they just voted, the Supreme Court just voted to allow border agents to remove the wire at the Texas-Mexico border 5-4. In order to allow entry into the United States. It is razor wire. That sounds kind of gross, razor wire to go up against children. Yeah. The whole thing. All right. Let me see if there's anything going on with Novak Djokovic news. Djokovic equals Roger Federer record. Fitness concerns. Fitness concerns for Nole. Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz both have a shot at finishing the Australian Open as the world number one, with a potential final match between the top two seeds. Novak drops 2,000 points, and Alcaraz has no points to lose. The men's quarterfinals are set, and they feature the top 6 players in the world. Djokovic faces Fritz in the day session, 10:30 p.m. today, while Sinner meets Rublev in the night session. That's actually not great for Djokovic. He likes the night session when the weather is cooler and it's going to be hot, so that's not good. The winners will meet in one semifinal on Thursday. On the bottom half, Alcaraz faces Zverev, with the German holding a 4-3 edge. Wow. Wow, so Alcaraz could lose. Hurkacz leads Medvedev 3-2. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah, I've bought my ZJYL through E-Trade. I did. And I bought it. This is what I have. My first buys were much higher, but then I bought some lower. So my average is 104 in my regular account and then 74 in my IRA. I think that's, or it's the other way around. But anyway, I sold my Vocal, the remaining Vocal, and some other crap to do that. So I'll probably miss out if one of those other stocks goes up. Well, I think Trump would be for it because he's not beholden to the banks. But I just don't think he totally understands it. He's not a stock guy. He's a real estate guy. But he knows the banks aren't the banks aren't good people. He said something along those lines once. Anyway, 2 more minutes. I'll just see if there's one more question. I'm sorry to drag it out, but I don't know why I'm tired. I feel like there's a topic that one of you guys asked about. I will say we'll find out about Logic this week, I think. I'm a little nervous about it because if it's another bad financing deal included with it, well, it's never the house, it's the mortgage. But I am really hopeful that it's going to be a reverse merger worth 50 cents a share, and that'll be reflected in the stock price. All right, 1 minute to go. So I wish everyone good night. Peace, love, and happiness. If you think of it still, please pray for Jenny Yell and pray for that gentleman who lost his wife, number 2 pencil, and pray for all the people in our community who are suffering, and also pray for world peace. I'd love that peace to especially extend to all the children that through no fault of their own happened to be there. Oh, because you're one of those squeaky wheels. That's amazing. That's what you get for making it difficult for those hardworking people. Oh, it's a joke. Everything's upside down, Stephen. Everything is upside down. All depends on your definition of upside down. Is. All right, so I'm going to sign off. I'm going to wish everyone the best. And if you're bored, watch some tennis at 10:30 tonight. It might be fun. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.